Can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $749.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it, by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area, get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wade County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
If you see a student being bullied, be supportive. Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You'll be an ally and you can make a friend. Friendship! Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com and join Cartoon Network to redraw your world without bullying.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. One more heat advisory afternoon for us. It'll feel more like 104 to 108 across the area. 95 our high temperature. We do have a front that approaches us today. That's going to bring us a better chance for showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon and this evening. We'll see an overnight low of 76. That front delivers cooler air tomorrow with a high of 88, but also a good chance for storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit Newcomb & Company. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 123 points to 44,337.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. Check us out on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Live stream right now, just like every show. And you're darn right. You're darn right. I'll tell you what that means as we jump into the Big 3 at 3 right here to start the drive.
Number 1.
You're darn right we have football today. Is it the best football you've ever seen? Probably not.
No.
Is it the most meaningful football you've ever seen? Probably not.
No.
But I'll tell you this. It's the best football you've seen in like 3 months.
Since the Super Bowl?
It's the most meaningful football you've seen in the NFL since February, right? I mean, it's a loophole, but it's one way to look at it. We're going glass half full with this bad boy. Lions, Chargers, Canton, Ohio, tonight. By the way, I believe you can hear that right here on 99.9 The Fan.
You can.
Want to be up to date on the latest. This is a game that you watch with a grain of salt, but when you've been waiting so long for it, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. And then you mix in a few little, hey, that's a good juicy detail, and there's enough to get you through. Omarion Hampton, first-round running back out of North Carolina. Local guy, by the way, right? Not just playing at North Carolina. Grew up right here in the area. Clayton, I believe.
That's correct. Cleveland High School.
You'll see him for the first time wearing an NFL game jersey on the field. He might get one carry. He might not even get a carry. He might get 2 or 3. But still, you're seeing a debut. If he goes on to have the type of career that I think he will, could look back at today, the day it all got started. Trey Lance, Kyle Allen, some names that you recognize. Trey Harris, a second-round pick that is lining up at wide receiver for the Chargers, will be out there making his debut. It's not, what's the it's a quote from the remake of Longest Yard, right? You may not get the whole Hershey bar, but at least get a Hershey Kiss, right? May not get the whole chocolate bar, at least get a Hershey Kiss. It's not what we hope for in football, but at least it's something.
Could see Nyheim Hines back on the field for the first time in a while.
Could see Nyheim Hines. There's a lot of parts of your career where you may find yourself in the Hall of Fame game if your team is in the Hall of Fame game. One would be right on the cusp, right at the beginning. The whole world is in front of you. Think of the players I mentioned, Trey Harris, Omarion Hampton. One, maybe you're looking for a second chance. Think Trey Lance, right? Maybe you've gotten a few opportunities, didn't take advantage of them, and you want to prove to everybody that you're better than that. All right, show me. And one might be Nyheim Hines, a veteran trying to show he's still got something left in the tank after some tough injury years. And then there's also the end of the bench guys just trying to stay on the roster one more day. Every day they check into the facility, they swipe their fob, their little beep-in card, and they're just hoping that door opens. And a great performance doesn't guarantee you that it's going to open on Monday, but it helps you a little bit. I'm excited just to watch football. That's number one. Let's hit number two.
Number two.
Speaking of looking forward to this football season in the Atlantic Coast Conference, in the ACC, we are expecting within probably the next 2 hours, hour and a half.
Maybe in an hour.
Maybe even in an hour. To hear the All-ACC teams as they've been voted upon by the media, our votes included. Obviously, it's the preseason rankings and preseason All-ACC, they're very similar to the Hall of Fame game. It's like, well, they don't really mean anything, right? The postseason are the ones that matter. But in the absence of something real, it's kind of good just to see where everybody's temperature is going into the season, right? It gives us something to talk about. If you're looking for players with that play here in the Triangle or play in the state of North Carolina to make the All-ACC teams, I can tell you the players that made my ballot. Justin Jolie, tight end from NC State.
Likewise.
Brian Parker, offensive lineman from Duke.
Likewise.
Chandler Rivers, cornerback from Duke.
As did I.
Let's try this again. Terry Moore, safety from Duke.
Yep.
And Damon Claiborne, I put him in as a specialist from Wake Forest.
I put him as a running back, but yeah. I had all those same guys listed.
To me, Desmond Reed from Pitt and Damon Claiborne, they both deserve to be All-ACC preseason in some way. So it's like, are you putting them in a roster spot, or are you putting them in as a specialist, and then whichever one you don't, you kind of flip? That's the way I'm looking at it.
I had Trey Freeman in there as a linebacker from Duke as well.
Okay, linebackers, there's a decent amount.
Yeah.
Like that's Freeman, by the way, statistically has put up some big seasons, some 100 tackle stuff. So there's a couple others you could argue for. I'm just saying if one of those that I mentioned are not in there, somewhere for Damon Claiborne, and then everybody else pretty much where I said, that's where we start calling up other media members and other markets going, what are you watching?
Like the guy who voted Virginia Tech to win the whole entire conference.
I've decided, since today is kind of a beginning, right, afresh, I'm being optimistic today. I've decided I'm being optimistic, so here's my take. I think that was a typo. That's what I'm going with. The person that voted Virginia Tech to finish first in the ACC, I'm choosing not to say they're homer or they are somehow not voting with the same integrity as everybody else or they're trying to be funny. I'm choosing to eliminate all of that and saying they thought VT stood for like visiting team or something, and they just got really confused. That's like have you ever seen? Oh, I forget which award it was. And I hope this is real and it's not just some Photoshop meme that got passed around. Did you see a couple years ago who Kendrick Perkins voted for like, I think it was Most Improved or Sixth Man of the Year?
No.
It was Ime Udoka, the head coach of the Celtics.
That's funny.
And I went, all right, that's obviously like he thought it was Coach of the Year or something, and he just wrote the wrong name in the wrong place.
Whoops.
Like I'm hoping they thought, you started number one was who you thought was last or something. That was your bottom vote. I'm just saying I'm giving the benefit of the doubt today, which maybe is why number 3 is a question that I think we should discuss.
Number 3.
Would you trade Adam Thielen? If you are a Carolina Panthers fan, would you trade Adam Thielen? This isn't just my question. Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer has voiced this question. Here he is.
I could see a contender coming by and being like, hey, we'll give you a 5th for Adam Thielen. And, I mean, you might be hard-pressed to say no if you even Hunter and think he can be a starting slot receiver.
Here's where the optimism comes in. That would be the ultimate sign that the Panthers, who, by the way, the last 2 years have struggled to get open as wide receivers as a whole, are now going into this year so darn confident in their wide receivers that they are willing to trade away pretty much the only guy that's gotten open the last 2 years.
He's led their team in receptions and yards each of the last 2 years and touchdowns receiving.
That would be not only are we a fan of the guys we have, we're throwing out the safety net. That's optimism right there. That's going from, I don't know if we have 2 guys that can get open, to we have too many guys that can get open, and we have to somehow, some way convert one of these into future assets so we don't cut someone with value. By the way, and I've always been a bit more cutthroat at this. I've always been a fan of the cut somebody, trade somebody 1 year too early rather than 1 year too late. I've been on the train of, I think others may overestimate the impact of like a hardworking veteran if you are in a team that already kind of has the culture set. Like Adam Thielen, there's no doubt in my mind the dude's a leader. No doubt in my mind. Right? They held all the offseason retreats in Minnesota. That's not because Bryce Young loves Minnesota. They did that because that's where Adam Thielen calls his offseason home. Like, I get that he is a leader. I get that you want him teaching guys things. But I think David Moore can teach things. I think Hunter Renfrow can teach things. I don't think it has to come from the same position. I think Andy Dalton can teach things. So, if you're looking to trade a wide receiver, guess what? I don't think Hunter Renfrow wants to work anywhere other than Carolina because of the proximity to his home in South Carolina. I don't think David Moore wants to play for anybody other than Dave Canales. So I don't think you're getting much for those guys on the open market. Darn sure aren't getting what you'd get for Adam Thielen. So if you send Adam Thielen away, you get something. Mike Kay brought up a 5th rounder. If it's something like Thielen in a 7th for a 4th, or I don't know what the conversion rate is there, I'm taking it. I'm taking it, and do you know what else I'm doing? I'm shaking Adam Thielen's hand on the way out and saying, you've been vital to laying the foundation that we have here. Hopefully you're trading him to a contender so you can say, go win, go do something awesome in the AFC, most likely, and hopefully, and we'll be rooting for you as long as you're not playing us. That's what that's ideal to me. And then you can turn to David Moore and Hunter Renfrow and say, congratulations, you made the team. Everybody's getting handshakes.
Might make things a little bit easier.
And then you turn to Tetairoa McMillan and go, 160 targets.
And you know, probably go, oh, hey, bet.
Yeah, he would go, deep balls? All of them. All of them. Hitches, crossers.
That's like, only 160?
yeah, maybe. Yeah, we're going to run the ball a lot. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of the Panthers, Anish Shroff is the voice of the Panthers and the host of Panther Talk, which you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan, Mondays during the football season. Starting this Monday, he joins us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline next.
Bank of America is a nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Young backpedals, rolling to his right. He can run for it. He's got the 10. He's got the 5. Bryce into the end zone, and Carolina takes the lead. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns today for Bryce Young.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That familiar voice getting ready to join us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers, host of Panther Talk, which you can hear Mondays during the football season, 6 o'clock right here on 99.9 The Fan, starting up this Monday. And Anish and Tom Luganbill, Lugs, will be live streaming during practice tomorrow morning for the Carolina Panthers. You can catch that on the YouTube, Panthers.com, and the Panthers Twitter account. So Anish is boots on the ground following everything about the Panthers preseason, and he's hopefully going to pass along a bunch of that insight to us right now. Anish, thank you very much for taking the time and joining us. I said this yesterday, but I get suspicious. It's maybe a flaw in my personality when all I hear is good things about a young player when everybody is over the heels in love. So I'll start with, is there anything that Tetairoa McMillan still needs to work on based on what you've seen in the preseason? Because I'm just hearing nothing but glowing reports.
Well, you have to remember a couple of things about preseason, spring training, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's in the best shape of their lives. Culture and continuity mean everything. We're all trying to get better one day at a time. It's about the process. Listen, we're, a week and change into the beginning of training camp. I will say this. I've been to almost every practice. The guy catches everything. The guy catches everything. And you can, again, probably maybe find fault with, well, he's being defended by so-and-so instead of this guy, right? You can find all that, but what has impressed me is the ball could be to the right side of his helmet, to the left side of his helmet. He'll catch it. If it's to his chest, he'll catch it. If it's down at his waist, he'll catch it. Down at his ankles, he'll catch it. 2 hands, 1 hand. And maybe the thing that's been most impressive is just how smooth he is and how easy it makes it look. There's a fluidity to the way he plays. So, listen, I'll say this. Given that he is a top 10 pick, given that he was your first rounder, given that there's a lot of excitement around him, in Tetairoa McMillan's defense, the early returns get people excited. And let's be honest, that's kind of what training camp is for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I'll just the first part of your answer, I see you've done some of the same interviews we had, right? Where everything is glowing and everything is culture and everything else. But it's also,
there's a handbook, that people go by.
There is. Actually, I would assume you're probably part of the media training that these players go through, and you're doing a good job because they're executing your plan very, very well when we talk to them. But there is also this emergence, right? Guys that are maybe on the roster bubble, we see the first flash in training camp, and then perhaps a couple months down the road, we see it flourish into a on-field product. Outside of McMillan and maybe Thielen, right? Because those guys are in a different category. We're also hearing a lot of positive about kind of the rest of the wide receivers. Who to you has kind of stolen the show in the biggest way in that room, other than Tetairoa McMillan and Adam Thielen?
This is an easy one. It's Hunter Renfrow. And I'm not sure many of us saw that coming when he was signed. I think when he was originally signed, it looked like an insurance play. Adam Thielen's going to be 35 in August. If something happens to him, hey, plug him in. You've got your possession receiver who, if there's something left in the tank, might be able to fill the void. He's 3 years removed from a Pro Bowl. Maybe you can capture some of what he had with Las Vegas. What the Panthers have found out is that there may be a lot more left in the tank. And Dabo Swinney was out at practice the other day and talking to a few people. Hunter Renfrow was ready to retire. Dabo convinced him, hey, give it one more shot, see what happens. It was Renfrow who reached out to the Panthers saying, hey, would there be an opportunity here in camp? And given his pedigree, it's a low-risk, high-reward type of signing. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But everything from his route running, his sure-handedness, it just kind of seems, again, and this could be a training camp story. We've seen a lot of these over the years, but the reports have been glowing, and there is a feeling that he looks like the player who went to the Pro Bowl 3 years ago. This was a guy who had ulcerative colitis. It's a GI type of disease that causes inflammation. He dropped to about 150 pounds at one point. He's now back up, close to 180 in that range, back to his playing weight. But if Hunter Renfrow is another guy that you can plug into that wide receiver room, man, it's just another option for Bryce Young. And again, a guy who is 3 years removed from a 100-catch, 1,000-yard season.
Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers, connecting with us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Don't forget to check out Panther Talk Mondays at 6 right here on 99.9 The Fan. Anish hosts. And tomorrow, Anish and Tom Luganbill will be live streaming during practice for the Panthers. You can catch that on the Panthers YouTube, Panthers.com, and Panthers Twitter account as well. Anish, if all the receivers seem to be getting kind of glowing remarks, that's got to bode well for the guy throwing it to him, right? You don't look good if Bryce isn't getting you the ball. What's the biggest difference between Bryce Young last year and Bryce Young this year to you?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even take anything of what we've seen in training camp into account. I just think there's a little swagger to him, a little bleep you to him, if you catch my drift,
Yeah.
Which maybe was missing early, but the way his story arc has played out, he had to go through it. And I think we all openly wondered, every diehard fan, everybody in the building who covered the team, we all wondered when he got benched what that would mean, what sort of tipping point that would be for him, the franchise, his career, and the way he came through the fire and the way he finished the season. And Week 18 wasn't fluky. There was a build-up to that. He was building toward that. I was looking up some things today. Over the last 3 weeks of the regular season, only two quarterbacks in the NFL had a better quarterback rating than Bryce Young. One was Justin Herbert, one was Patrick Mahomes. So he played like somebody who has the pedigree of a number one overall pick down the stretch. I think if he just takes that next step, that next incremental step in his growth, this offense has a chance to be a top 10 offense. If he takes the giant leap, then the thought bubble can start to dream a little bit.
I like to let my imagination wander, but sometimes you do have to reel it back in. Let's turn to defense quickly here.
Yeah.
If there's been a kind of bug in the potato salad or whatever you want to call it of camp, it actually came right on the eve of camp with Josie Jewell's kind of surprise release and the concussion protocol and everything. Do you think the team is prepared to deal with replacing Jewell with the players on the roster already, or is a move on the way?
Well, the good thing is when you look at the 3-4 defense, right, the two positions that could be classified as low priority, middle linebacker, inside linebacker, and safety. So it's not as if you're down two outside linebackers. And, again, those are critical positions in the 3-4 where those guys not only have to rush the passer, be able to drop back in coverage. They're better up front, a lot better up front. Obviously, Derek Brown's coming back, so that's going to help the guys in the middle. I do think once you get past Roseboom, once you get past Trevin Wallace, there are questions about depth. I would also say the same can be said about cornerback. To me, yes, inside linebacker, you'd like to have another spare body, but that's usually a position where you can go find a guy after cuts and maybe get somebody who's played some meaningful snaps to be your third and fourth guy. The same with safety, which has kind of become a low priority position across the NFL. But I'll say cornerback is the one position where I think you could probably still beef up depth because you get past JC, who has an injury history, you get past Mike Jack. Maybe Shamar Bartholomew can be the guy. Maybe Shaw Smith-Wade can be the guy, but a lot of variables there after the top two.
Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers. Last one for you before we let you go. Let's talk strengths, right? Strength of the defense, interior defensive line. We all know Derek Brown. We all want him to come back as healthy as possible and be the same or better than he was prior to dealing with the injury last year. But who else or what else about that particular part of the field, that interior trenches of the defensive line, kind of makes it not just Derek Brown and the Pips, but a unit that is such a strength?
So I'll give you this nugget. Last year, Shai Tuttle, who's about 300 pounds, and LeBrian Ray started 24 games for the Carolina Panthers. Those two are depth pieces, and I think you can probably say they're going to have to fight to make the 53 this year. So improvement across the board. Bobby Brown, to me, is kind of what you want as the guy who can eat up two blockers as a nose tackle in the 3-4. I interviewed him a couple of days ago. He's 6'4". He's probably 340. He looks like a mountain of a man. And now you've got him flanked by Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson, Turk Wharton. If you haven't seen the size of Turk Wharton's quads, my God, they look like sequoias. His quads have quads. Darren Gant, the Panthers.com beat writer, and I were talking about this the other day. Turk was telling me this guy squats close to 800 pounds, which hurts saying that out loud. And I asked him, what's your leg press? And he goes, well, how high does the machine go? I don't really count. I just kind of stick the needle in whatever the maximum weight of the machine is, and I can do that pretty easily. So he is a load. Again, that's going to make for just a market improvement. And, last year the run defense was historically bad. You've now fortified the defensive front. Think of it this way. You give up 6 yards per play on first down, which is what the Panthers did last year. That impacts the defensive coordinator's ability to call plays on second and third down. You're now going off the kids menu because you can't dial up your blitz packages. You can't tell your outside edge rushers to go pin their ears back and get the quarterback. A lot was made about the pass rush last year, rightfully so, but having a much stouter run defense, football is all about the domino effects. What happened impacts what is going to happen. And I think the Panthers are going to be immeasurably better against the run this season, which should have a trickle-down impact on the rest of the defense.
I'm starting to see why you can maybe get by with finding a guy at linebacker when you have, I guess, a ton of sequoias up there eating up blocks and making their job easier. Anish, we appreciate you, as always, for taking the time. We'll continue to drive everybody towards Panther Talk and your live stream tomorrow. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
Once again, Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers, also the host of Panther Talk, which starts up on Monday. So right after our show, right after this show on Monday at 6, you can hear Panther Talk right here on 99.9 The Fan. And tomorrow, that's Friday, Anish and Tom Luganbill will be live streaming during practice for the Panthers. That's on the Panthers YouTube. You can catch it on Panthers.com, the Panthers Twitter account. So they're making it easy for you to find that live stream. Check it out and be up to date on everything at Panthers training camp, as you know we all want to be. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Gordon Miller and Miller Lending have been doing no closing cost loans for decades. And what that does is it allows them to save you money in a different way, okay? There's no costs. There's no fees. So if rates are the same at Miller Lending and some other guys, some other lenders, some other broker, they're going to come out ahead because they're not making you pay or not asking you to pay. They don't require any costs or fees or surcharges or whatever you want to call them at closing. It's something to make sure you consider. Because it's not even always something you ask about because you just assume, all right, at closing, I'm going to have to come up with a big old fat check. It's not the case with Miller Lending. Give them a call. They'll explain more and let you know the questions you should be asking. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. The Dean's List is coming up next. See what local college sports athletes found their way onto the Dean's List today. Stick around.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max XR 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Shout out once again to Anish Shroff for joining us on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline during that last segment. Voice of the Panthers. Don't forget, Panther Talk, 99.9 The Fan, on Monday at 6. You know what else that means about next week?
What's that?
Well, Panther Talk shows up during football season.
That's right.
When there's a game that week, Panther Talk shows up on our network. So if it's showing up on Monday, that week there's going to be a Panther game.
Friday next week.
Just letting y'all know. It's Panther Talk showing up on a game week.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Panthers are actually going to be on the field against an opponent next week. They have a joint practice Wednesday against the Browns, and then they actually have their preseason game on Friday against the Browns at Bank of America.
You're darn right. Just letting everybody know. I'll let you know right now that it is time for the Dean's List. Class is in session. Give everybody in the college sports world, directly, somehow related to the college sports world that deserves a few extra accolades, an honor that we call the Dean's List. All right, we got some ridiculous ones and we got some serious ones.
Okay.
Dennis, which would you like first?
I kind of want the ridiculous ones. Give me the ridiculous one.
The Demon Deacon.
Okay.
ESPN, you know we're deep in like lists, rankings season.
Actual Demon Deacon himself.
In ESPN's mascot power rankings, the Demon Deacon finished on the podium. They finished third in the mechanized division category for Demon Deacon on a chopper for riding the motorcycle into the stadium.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I actually want to ride a motorcycle next to the Deacon. I want to take my motorcycle to Winston-Salem and ride into the stadium with the Demon Deacon. That would actually be a ton of fun.
You'd be riding in with the third place finisher in the mechanized division category of the ESPN mascot power rankings.
Mechanized division.
Mechanized division.
Who was 1 and 2?
I forget now.
It's all right.
But the other categories, they had live animal, they had real human, they had mechanized, they had a whole like traditional rankings. I don't know. They had a whole bunch of it was like, the end of Miss America when they're like, in the swimsuit category, in the mechanized division, first runner up. But Demon Deacon was the only kind of local mascot that got into the mix. Third place in their category. Going to a more serious one. How about Hollywood Smothers and Peyton Jones and Damon Claiborne? Those are running backs for NC State, Duke, and Wake Forest.
Okay.
All named to the Paul Hornung watch list, the Hornung Award watch list, which goes to the most versatile player in the country.
Oh, okay.
So they are expected to get carries, get catches, get returns, get a little bit of everything, and potentially end up in that most versatile conversation. And if you look at the history of the Hornung Award, which has only been given out now for like 12 or 13 years, if you're the most versatile in the country, you become a star. It's like the Odell Beckhams. There's some really good players that have won that award. I think Saquon won it. Do you have a Dean's List you'd like to throw out here? I know I didn't steal any years with the Demon Deacon.
No, you did not. No, actually, I don't have anyone to throw on the Dean's List.
All right, then I do have one addendum to yesterday's Dean's List.
Oh, okay.
I said North Carolina football players in the NFL, and I list, meaning UNC Tar Heel players in the NFL, and I listed a bunch of them that I'm excited to see. I omitted one.
Oh?
Mac Hollins, who was kind of a big free agent signing for the Patriots. So he's going to be with Drake May up there doing a little Tar Heel to Tar Heel thing. But he is off the pup and is making his camp debut today. So I saw that and I went, oh, I'm excited to see him too. And I didn't say that when I listed De'Ami Brown and all these other guys yesterday. So it was just an omission, unintentional.
Yeah, the wide receiver played with the Bills last year, if I remember correctly.
Fascinating dude. He's been a captain of the Dolphins. He played with the Bills. He walks in barefoot during like snow games and stuff. He's a fascinating guy, but I mean he's been in the NFL a long time, and that only happens if you're putting good tape out there. So part of that rebuilt wide receiver room with Stephon Diggs and third-round pick Kyle Williams and Mac Hollins to pair with a few guys that stuck around in New England. All right, let's get to a ridiculous one. These schools: South Carolina, Purdue, Louisville, Virginia, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Tulane, UConn, Louisiana, Western Michigan, Kennesaw State, and Idaho. Dennis, do you have any idea what they could have in common?
They're all colleges.
They are. Facts.
Nailed it.
According to Brett McMurphy, Costco is selling discounted 2-ticket packages for all those schools I just mentioned.
Wait, hold on. Costco?
Costco.
So we can go to the Costco that's right around the corner over here off Six Forks.
I don't know if they're in every Costco, but at least some Costcos. Got to check Brett McMurphy for the details.
Okay.
But they vary between $50, $49.99, to $99.99, and some do include $20 in food and beverage credits or a parking pass. Listen, I love anything that fills the stadium more consistently. I just because I've done it a few times in college football, I feel bad for the players when they show up to a game and there's like nobody in the upper stadium, and by the end of the third quarter, like basically the end zones are empty. The students are somewhere at a frat house partying already. Like, I like anything that gets more people to the stadium. So, hey, if you got to sell them in Costco in bulk, do what you got to do. I walked in here for one thing of ketchup. I walked out with 8 gallons of ketchup and tickets to Louisiana, Louisville. I don't know.
That's kind of wild. But, hey, you know what? More places, I guess, you can sell your tickets, the better.
Just more people in the stadium. That's all I want. More people in the stadium. And that's good business, by the way.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny when things like this pop up. Now that players can get paid and boosters have to divide up their money, it's like, oh, suddenly ticket sales are getting a little bit more creative, huh?
Yeah.
Now that you have to worry about the bottom dollar of your business a bit more, now you're calling in favors. All right.
It's kind of wild.
I told you, it's a ridiculous day.
You could buy a scooter and a pair of tickets to a game and 9 melons.
And a couple, no logo khakis. Like,
there
you can mix it all together.
Hey, get those Puma socks. Let's go.
Last one for you. And this is not locally tied, but I went down the rabbit hole. Ohio State wide receivers in the NFL.
Mean like all 20 of them?
I started because Terry McLaurin is holding out. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of, let me see who's taking advantage of these reps. So I went and I looked and I'm like, oh, Noah Brown gets to run with the ones when Terry McLaurin is out. Noah Brown, what do I know? Oh, he's from Ohio State. Ohio State guy holds out. Ohio State guy takes the reps. So then I went down the whole rabbit hole, and there's Emeka Egbuka, who's one of the darlings of preseason in Tampa, first-round pick wide receiver. Apparently he's crushing it. Garrett Wilson, you'll remember, he just signed one of the biggest contracts in wide receiver history. Marvin Harrison Jr., some are saying is due for a breakout in Arizona. Jackson Smith and Jigba is coming off a breakout last year in Seattle. Chris Olave looks healthy in New Orleans. You could argue there are 5 number 1 wide receivers in the NFL right now from Ohio State. And then you throw in Emeka Egbuka, you throw in a few of these others. There's a ton there. You even guess who's still counting $9 million against the cap for the Saints? Michael Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
They've got wide receivers galore. I guess this is a real shout-out to Brian Hartline, their OC/wide receiver coach.
A former NFL player himself.
He knows how to pick them.
And former Ohio State guy.
Yeah. Another one. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. By the way, we could have done LSU there, too. Neighbors, BTJ. Others like that.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Terrace Marshall Jr., who could forget?
Do they count Jack Besh? He was there for like a day and then transferred to TCU. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, there's a lot of talking about the Canes' stability this week, right? The Canes' core being locked in, long-term stability, these young guys locked in on long-term contracts. Well, it's important to realize it hasn't always been that way. I'll prove it to you coming up next.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Did you catch Luisito's header? Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Hurricanes have a reputation, I would say, for loyalty. Rod Brindamore has a reputation for loyalty. There was a strong contingent of fans that didn't believe he would actually be able to move on from a guy like Brent Burns because there was loyalty built in there. I think that's a good reputation to have, by the way. Right? When it comes down to where do you want to play, if you're a free agent, you have options, and you're like, I could go to a place where they kind of ride or die with their guys, or I could go to a place where they treat you like pawns, and you're probably going to go to the place with a little bit more loyalty. So I'm not saying it's bad, but I am saying you don't have to look that far into the rearview mirror to see perception isn't always reality. Okay? Because right now, the Carolina Hurricanes are locked in, we're talking like 12 players for the next 4 years, something like that. And we're talking premier players, right? We're talking a bulk of their kind of stars, if you will.
And Eric Tolsky said those 12 players accounted for 65% of their goal scoring last year. And Nikolai Ehlers and Keandre Miller did not score any goals for the Carolina Hurricanes last year.
So at 65% plus those two guys is what they have locked in. And then on top of that, they're all 26 or younger, or most of them were 26 or younger, the forwards or something like that. Basically, the way Tolsky said it, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is just to spit it out so we can move on, is with the contracts they have now, they will not be cap restricted and they will not be in huge decline because of age. That's fantastic. That's great. And I was excited for it. And then I was scrolling through Twitter last night. And it was Chip Alexander of the News and Observer. He sent out a tweet, and this is the good stuff, right? Chip was cleaning out his desk, and if you go cover a game at the Lenovo Center, they walk around pregame with little roster sheets, right? The lines that they're going to be starting with, and little details, right? Height, weight, all that kind of stuff. It's a starting lineup essentially, and he found one in his desk as he was cleaning out from March of 2024. Now, he sent out a picture of it and basically said, a reminder of how things change. I looked at the record, right? I did a little sleuthing, went back and looked. So I pinned it down as March 14th, 2024. It was a game against the Panthers. That is, again, a little bit of math, but I did it before the show, so we should be okay. 504 days ago, also known as 16 and a half months. I'm going to read you the lines that this was a starting lineup for the Carolina Hurricanes 16 and a half months ago. Top line was Svech, Aho, Teuvo Teravainen. Second line, Gensel, Kuznetsov, Necas. So we're hot off the start. The top two lines, 4 of the 6 aren't even on the team anymore. The Martinook-Stahl line is and will forever be stable. Martinook, Stahl, and Jarvis. That's where they were pegged in or penciled in for that one. Fourth line of forwards, Nason, Kokaniemi, Fost. So one remains from that group. Go to the blue line, back to the defensemen. Slavin and Burns paired up. Shea and Pesce paired up. Orlov and Chatfield paired up. And this is just for fun. I'm really going to focus on the ones that were in the starting lineup. But healthy extras. Tony DeAngelo and Brendan Lemieux.
Oh, yeah.
Just a couple of names from way back when.
Our guy Micah, his guy, Brendan Lemieux.
Brendan Lemieux. Even when he was on the team, he was a healthy extra. But the reason why I was looking at this was the Canes have this reputation for loyalty and for stability. And for once you become part of the inner circle of trust, once you become somebody that Rod Brindamore trusts, you have this leash or this commitment. Yet 16 and a half months ago, only 8 skaters remain, which means 10 have been flipped over. 10 have been turned over, and these aren't just like end-of-the-bench guys shuffling up, $1.5 million contracts. A lot of these guys got paid elsewhere. I know Gensel was only here for a snap, but he got paid elsewhere. Natchez is doing his best to get paid elsewhere. He doesn't really care where. He just wants like top-line minutes, top power play, and money. Teuvo Teravainen, Kuznetsov's trying to come back to the league. Like, these guys have spread out. Shea and Pesci got paid. Spread out, Orlov got paid. They're still legit NFL or NHL guys, but it just shows not many teams get in the situation that the Canes find themselves in now. Not even the Canes. Not even a team that values that sort of thing. It is rare to be in a situation where you have the core, and not just the core of 4 guys or 3 guys locked up long-term. You have a core of double-digit skaters that you're confident in, locked up for 3 and 4 years into the future, and cap's going up, and draft picks still available, and prospects that you can spare. It doesn't happen often, not even for a front office that largely has executed a lot of the things in the past.
Well, I think a lot of these guys that you mentioned were part of that previous group of stability.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brady Shea was with the team for essentially 4+ seasons. Yep. Brett Pesci was with the team for 9. Yep. And then Teuvo Teravainen was with the team for 8. Natchez, 6+ seasons essentially with the Canes.
Which is a great point, because think about what that says about what the Canes just pulled off right under our nose. They've flipped the core from a group you were loyal to, you were confident in, and you gave a good, half a decade chunk to a new group that you're loyal to, you're confident in, and you're expecting to give a good half a decade chunk to, and you never dropped off. You never rebuilt. You never had the reset year. You never, tanked and drafted first overall. You never did any. You just continued to make the playoffs and win postseason series, made it to an Eastern Conference Finals, and then we just kind of glanced down and went, holy cow, more than half the roster is turned over. They're maybe more talented, definitely younger, and set up for another window. It happens so often. I talk about championship windows in every sport. And so often it happens where you get a 3 or 4 or 5 year window, and you have to go for it in such a way that if you don't get your ring in that window, if you don't get your cup in that window, it feels like the biggest, most massive, most disappointing loss of all time, because you're staring at bad contracts, right? The veterans that you gave huge money to, trying to win in that window, now still have 3 more years at super high salaries left. The picks or the young players that you'd be looking to grow into the roles that are being vacated by the guys that helped you compete in that window aren't there because you traded them away for win-now pieces in that window. The Canes have been slowly turning it. I don't even want to say slowly. In 16 months, have turned it over almost, definitely not almost, more than half. And they never stopped competing along the way. There's none of that dreaded doom, right? Think about something like what Toronto's going through, right? They had their core 4, and they went for it. And now it kind of feels like they're, all right, we're staring at the abyss here a little bit. We're going to have to try to weather this storm and hopefully rebuild something that can compete. Now imagine if, instead of that feeling, you just looked down and went, oh, we're in the same position again. When did that happen? Now you get another try. And I'm not here to say that, not getting a cup out of the last 5 years or not getting a cup out of the last 7 is okay, but it doesn't sting as bad when you're staring at another 5 or 7 years in front of you where you feel like you can go after it again. By the way, we were just talking about this during the commercial break. The Athletic put out the top 10 worst contracts in the NFL. The other day we were talking about they put out a list of the top 10 best, and this is their analytics. How much value are you getting versus how much you're being paid? Brady Shea they have is the 4th worst contract in the league.
Signed 7 years at $7 million a year with Nashville last offseason.
And the Athletic is expecting or predicting, whatever their algorithm says, $2.6 million worth of value, getting paid $7. Talk about, I always say it's better to leave a year early from a player than a year too late. That's leaving at the perfect time. That is like his value will drop on Tuesday, so we'll go ahead and move on from him Monday evening. Like that is that close. And then you turn around and what do you replace him with? Well, I mean, Keandre Miller or Alexander Nikishin or whoever you're throwing into that.
Sean
Walker, whoever you're throwing into that defensive spot is probably on a contract that is about $2.6 million if you're looking at the lower end of that group I just mentioned. But you hopefully are getting $5 to $7 million worth of value out of it. It is something that should not be taken for granted. That is, I said earlier today, I'm going to try to be optimistic today. This whole segment, this last 6 minutes of me talking is just don't take it for granted. Don't to switch over 10 players on your starting skating line in 16 months takes so many decisions. It's not one. It's 100 decisions to do that and to get them right, not everyone, but to get them right often enough, higher percentage enough to still feel like you're in a championship window on the other side of that is insane degree of difficulty. And I've seen in every sport so many times, most GMs want to do it this way, right? They want to, we're not rebuilding, we're not resetting, we're retooling. And they try to do that, and they mess it up bad enough that eventually they go, all right, we got to reset here. We got to rebuild. We got to eat some cap hits and get out of here and get some high draft picks and start over. The Canes made it on the other side and they look like they're right at the beginning of a window. And it happened right under our nose. And sometimes it does take something random like, a reporter cleaning out their desk and looking at a starting lineup and going, holy cow, this wasn't that long ago. 16 and a half months. That's nothing in team building where patience and discipline are so valued. 16 and a half months is nothing. And now everybody's locked up for the next 4 years. Not everybody, but feels like it.
Yeah, a lot of guys locked up for 4, if not longer.
Yeah, some 9. I like that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Maybe the Panthers, meaning Carolina Panthers, could do a little learning. How'd you pull that off? Can you show us? Because they are maybe at the beginning of a window as well. Maybe beginning of a window. Led by Tetairoa McMillan. Everybody loves him. We talked to Anish Shroff. He catches everything is what he tells us. Football at 4 coming up next.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Hey, daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
At Bailey's, love not only sparkles, but it also gives back. Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. Yes, we have high-quality certified diamonds that fit your budget. But did you know that when you say I do with an engagement ring from Bailey's, a donation is made to the food bank to help feed a local family of 4 for an entire month? Celebrate your love with Bailey's, where every diamond helps create a brighter future. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted the best place to buy your diamond.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Richie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Richie Law is on top of it. Go to RichieLaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's RichieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We're looking at another hot afternoon out there, a high of 95, but feeling like triple digits. We have a heat advisory in effect this afternoon. But a cold front approaches and brings us a good chance for showers and storms this afternoon and evening. 76 overnight tonight. The storms will die down, but they do come back tomorrow as that front stays parked here. It's also going to deliver some cooler temperatures with highs in the upper 80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 358 points to 44,102.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Panthers training camp. There are a few motifs about Panthers training camp. One of them, Tetairoa McMillan is good. Everybody's saying it. Everybody's saying it. I'm gonna. If you haven't been listening to the show for the last hour or so, first of all, where were you? No, I'm kidding. We had Anish Shroff on, the voice of the Panthers, to break down his insight into training camp. He's been at almost every practice, and this is how I framed the question. I said, I get nervous when everybody is 100% positive about a player. I feel like they're trying to hide something. So soothe my fears. What does Tetairoa McMillan still need to work on? Because all I'm hearing is everybody giving glowing reports. Do you know what Anish Shroff told us? I asked for a flaw, essentially. I asked for something to work on. He said he catches absolutely everything, and he makes it look smooth and effortless. That was how he answered, please give me a flaw. That's how good this guy looks in training camp. The only kind of mild, like, hey, this might make you feel better that he threw into the answer was you could nitpick the competition he's going up against because he's not always going up against the number one defensive backs for the Carolina Panthers. We actually have the soundbite. Dennis was working diligently back there. So this is the answer that Anish Shroff gave us.
I've been to almost every practice. The guy catches everything. The guy catches everything. And you can, again, probably maybe find fault with, well, he's being defended by so-and-so instead of this guy, right? You can find all that. But what has impressed me is the ball could be to the right side of his helmet, to the left side of his helmet. He'll catch it. If it's to his chest, he'll catch it. If it's down at his waist, he'll catch it. Down at his ankles, he'll catch it. 2 hands, 1 hand. And maybe the thing that's been most impressive is just how smooth he is and how easy it makes it look. There's a fluidity to the way he plays
That's pretty glowing for, hey, can you tell me what he needs to work on? So, because nobody else seems to want to do it, I'm going to make myself feel better by bringing up that my biggest concern about Tetairoa McMillan, going back before the draft, and if you listen to this show often enough, you know I'm a pretty big nerd for the NFL draft. So before I knew he was connected to the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers did a pretty good job of keeping their cards close to their chest pre-draft. We really weren't linking McMillan to the Panthers very often with the 8th pick. But I still did a decent amount of pre-draft work on McMillan, and my biggest concern before the draft is still my biggest concern right now, even with the glowing reports, even with the highlights we've seen video-wise coming out of training camp. And it is very simple. I'm still not 100% sure he can separate at the NFL level. The amount of absurd catches that he's made is staggering for, quite frankly, the minuscule sample size he's had, right? They've only had a certain amount of practices, and it seems like every practice 2 or 3 times, right, the highlight is you're never going to believe this catch Tetairoa McMillan made. Backhanded, one-handed leaping grab. A one-handed, for those of you that watch Monday Night Football Countdown, a one-handed you got mossed of Corey Thornton yesterday. Nearly an insane one-handed catch on the sideline with Shamar Bartholomew in chase. The stutter and go that's been played a million times on social media, an over-the-shoulder catch against Mike Jackson, a comeback on a Shamar Bartholomew defensive play to make a tight catch on the sideline. There's so many highlights. And it's so tempting to just sit back and go, this guy catches everything. But in the interest of pointing out something that he might need to work on or something that I'm still concerned on, just to show that the guy is human, none of those plays I just described had a ton of separation. Right? Part of me is like, all right, should the 8th overall pick have to moss Corey Thornton? Part of me is like, even against somebody like Mike Jackson, Mike Jack is a really good player. He is a starting NFL corner, but I'd like to see a step or two of separation between my number 1 wide receiver and him on some of these big plays, if not, and I'm saying not all of them, but occasionally. The stutter and go, which when somebody bites on a stutter and go, essentially a fake hitch and go, if somebody bites on a stutter and go, you get steps of separation. You just heard, again, earlier, Anish Shroff talking about the lack of depth at corner, right? It might be Shamar Bartholomew, it might be a guy they could play with some depth, might be Shaw Smith-Wade, but he didn't sound sold on any of them. And a lot of these highlights from Tetairoa McMillan are against those guys or guys further down the depth chart, and they still don't have a ton of separation. Now, I will say, if you catch them without separation, it doesn't really matter. So it goes back to what I've said about prospects a lot. You have to find out what they're not good at and find out if it matters. It might not matter if he's just that good at contested catches. If he's that good at the incredible, then he's just going to have the coolest highlight film in the history of the world, and he's not going to have any easy catches. But that's putting a lot of trust in Bryce Young, right? Because without a step or two, even if you have a guy that's willing to make and able to make the tough catches, you still have to put it somewhere only he can get it, or you have to put it somewhere that's not at risk of being an interception or a tip, right? Because once the ball's in the air, you never know who's going to come down with it off a tip. And again, there are ways to alleviate this, right? If we get into games or if into camp we start to see more route technician stuff, maybe he gets with Hunter Renfrow, who's made a living off of routing guys up. Maybe he gets with Adam Thielen. Maybe he gets with the receivers coach or Bryce or whatever, and they work out some stuff, because this all could easily be attributed to, or this all could easily be kind of directly related to. Arizona didn't ask him to run a super varied route tree. And I'm talking Arizona, his college, right? There's a lot of deep balls, deep posts. There's a lot of deep crossers. there's not a lot of like stick your foot in the ground and explode out, be sudden with your cuts. And if he wasn't asked to do it, he might just have to learn. And then once he does, it's not bad to have the skill set of going up and over guys to make catches when you need to. It's just a problem if you need to every single time. Now, with that being said, we do have to do the whole thing that Shroff did bring up, which is if you're looking for a concern, you could bring up that the competition hasn't been the best for these wide receivers. Because I asked Shroff, I said, all right, other than McMillan, and I eliminated Thielen just because I think we know what Thielen is at this point. Like, there's no surprises there. I said, who in the wide receiver room has stolen the show? And he went straight to Hunter Renfrow and waxed poetic about how good Hunter Renfro's been and kind of his story behind the scenes and everything else. Dennis, I think you and I have both seen a decent amount of Jimmy Horn love. Jimmy Horn Jr.
There's been some love for him.
Maybe not as much as I was expecting, but we know that Jalen Coker has made a couple catches this training camp. David Moore caught at least one touchdown early on because it was passed around on social media. This is maybe the right or wrong way to think. Anish Shroff did it as well. If every wide receiver is looking really good, part of me does want to question the coverage. If every wide receiver is the training camp darling, part of me does go, I don't know if this is great. And actually, it's why, and I told Dennis off air, yesterday there were some highlights of some pass breakups, and I was like, thank goodness, man.
Yeah.
They got to start winning a couple of these, or else I'm going to get real concerned with what's going on with the defense. Really, other than a healthy J.C. Horn. A healthy J.C. Horn, I think, has earned the right to, get beaten a few times and have me go, he'll figure it out. But if he's anything less than like 80% health or anyone else on the roster, I would be concerned if they don't start popping up in a couple highlights with better defensive plays. At least against, no offense, David Moore or something, right? Just give me. You can't be letting those guys moss you left and right.
Joint practices will tell us a lot.
That also could.
And the preseason guy. I think joint practices especially will tell us a lot.
Well, their first one's what, Cleveland? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, Wednesday.
And
Wednesday at home against Cleveland is the
maybe
joint practice.
Maybe when we get to like the Pittsburgh game or something.
Maybe. Then they gotta go. They gotta play Houston as well.
Houston for sure. Houston for sure.
They're doing a joint practice down in Houston too.
I just don't have the utmost respect for the Cleveland Browns.
Neither do the Browns.
Joe Flacco, step up, make a play. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Like, if the defense looks great, if they absolutely lock down and you learn that it's like Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders making all the throws, what is that, a late third or a fourth-round pick and a fifth-round pick? That's not super exciting to me. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's football at 4 here on The Drive. And you can, I believe you can probably catch that Anish Shroff interview online somewhere fairly soon.
It's already on our YouTube page.
There it is.
It's already out there.
And don't forget, Anish will be hosting Panther Talk Mondays at 6 here on 99.9 The Fan. Now that football has started, that'll start up on Monday. And tomorrow on Panthers.com, on their Twitter account and their YouTube account, the team accounts, they will be live streaming from practice tomorrow. So him as well as Tom Luganville. You can check that out as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have the ladder challenge. We have Panthers cons and cons. And preseason All-ACC teams have been revealed. What local stars made it and which got snubbed? Stick around.
How about a little taste of NFL football? The Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Herbert throws it in the air. Catch made. McConkey takes it all the way for the touchdown. 86 yards.
Detroit.
Jamison Williams gets a block. Breaks the tackle. 20. Staggers to the 10. 5. Touchdown. Touchdown Detroit.
Tonight at 8 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. And love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Claiborne in the backfield gets a handoff. He will find the end zone. A pair of fourth down conversions on the drive for Wake Forest, and it's cashed in at the end on the run by Claiborne.
This is The Drive here on 99.9 The Fan. We have the 2025 All-ACC preseason football team right now here in our inbox. I will read it to you, and then we will react. First team offense, Cade Klubnik, Clemson. Isaac Brown, running back, Louisville. Running back, Jamal Haynes, Georgia Tech. The three wide receivers are Antonio Williams and Bryant Wesco Jr. from Clemson and Chris Bell from Louisville. Tight end, our first local representative. Tight end Justin Jolie from NC State. All-purpose back Desmond Reed from Pitt. Along the offensive line, the tackles are Francis Mauigoa from Miami and Blake Miller from Clemson. Guard Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech and Walker Parks from Clemson. Center Ryan Linthicum from Clemson. Let's react to the offense. I don't have any huge qualms, aside from the fact that I believe Brian Parker, the second from Duke, should be in there amongst the offensive tackles.
Yeah, he and Francis Mauigoa were both second-team All-ACC last year, and Blake Miller from Clemson was a returning first-team All-ACC guy from last year. So there's a split there between Mauigoa and Parker among a lot of the voters.
It is.
I have Parker in there on my team.
I had Parker and Mauigoa. I think Mauigoa, and actually, let's talk a little.
I did have Miller in there. I'm like, you're reigning first-team All-ACC. I'm going to put you back in.
Put him alongside a whole bunch of other Clemson dudes. Actually, let's take two steps back. All right. First of all, everybody's methodology when voting is a little bit different. Dennis mentioned that he weighs heavily on last year's All-ACC teams, right? Kind of rewarding you for a really good season last year. Am I misrepresenting that at all?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, again, if a guy's first team All-ACC last year, I'm going to put him on my All-ACC this year.
I look a little bit more, since it's an individual award, right? It's not like you're naming a team. I look at NFL prospects. I look at individual kind of talent and measurables a bit more, because I think that could easily and likely will translate to better seasons as long as you've put together some good tape. So that's where something like, we both ended up with Brian Parker, the second from Duke, on our first team All-ACC preseason. He ended up with Blake Miller from Clemson, the other tackle. partially because he was an All-ACC performer a year ago. I went Francis Mauigoa because if you watch both of them, Mauigoa is I would say a better athlete and pro prospect. So everyone's methodology is different. I would say as long as you're putting the amount of thought that we do into it, you're good. And as long as you can defend it, you're good. It's the people that just kind of, look at jersey names, meaning the team names, and go, this one must be good, or recruiting rankings. That's a little different. The other thing I will say is offensive line is so difficult to predict. So difficult to judge. Because if you put a tackle next to an all-conference guard, their job is just easier, right? If you put a guard between an all-conference tackle and center, their job is just easier. But is that their fault? Right? Like if they're doing their job at a high level and they could do it with scrubs on either side, it's really tough to judge offensive line. I almost think there should be like individual players and then also a slot for like all-conference offensive line that you do as a unit, because that's much easier. Like if you treat them as one, it's much easier, I believe, to rank quality. We also just don't know what they're being asked. Meanwhile, like a wide receiver, right? You look up targets, receptions, yards, watch a little tape, and you feel like you got a pretty good idea. Quarterback, how many different advanced analytics told us Cade Klubnik had a really good year last year? Passer rating, QBR, the VORPs, the X-VORPs, the percentage, whatever's. Like there's a billion stats that said he's lighting it up. Shall we go to the defense? Let's go. Outside of by the way, I want to make sure we highlight Justin Joly. I think is due for a breakout.
Oh, for sure.
I think last year it took him a while to. I don't even want to say him a while. It took NC State a while to recognize that he probably should have been the centerpiece of that offense. And they were kind of forcing Casey Concepcion to be the centerpiece of that offense, who's wildly talented, but at Texas A&M now. I think if they build that offense kind of correctly with the new offensive coordinator and Kurt Roper, and they use Noah Rogers and they use Hollywood Smothers to stress a defense and then just let Justin Joly eat across the middle, I think he could have a huge season. Thus, us and 90 others, 92 total votes end up with him on All-ACC. Defense, TJ Parker, Clemson defensive end, joined by Ruben Bain Jr., defensive end from Miami. Clemson's, they're looking at defensive tackles, Peter Woods from Clemson and Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. The linebackers, Kyle Lewis from Pitt, Wade Woodaz from Clemson, and Sammy Brown from Clemson. Cornerback, Avion Terrell from Clemson and Chandler Rivers from Duke. And then safety, Isaiah Nwokobia, apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, from SMU, and Terry Moore from Duke. So local guys, you have Rivers and Moore in the secondary, both from Duke. Other than that, goodness gracious, Clemson. TJ Parker, leading vote getter at defensive end. Peter Woods, leading vote getter at defensive tackle. They are also the two leading vote getters amongst everyone on defense. At linebacker, you have two of the three coming from Clemson. In the secondary, you have another player, the leading vote getter in the secondary, coming from Clemson.
11 total players for Clemson.
There were a bunch on offense. I probably should have. I didn't notice it as much, but there are a bunch. Defense just felt like at least every other player I was mentioning was Clemson. And maybe it's, just the tiers, right? We talk tiers. At defensive end, TJ Parker, 152 votes. Ruben Bain Jr., the next defensive end, who also is All-ACC, 92. At defensive tackle, it's even more stark. Peter Woods, Clemson, 142 votes. Next closest, Darrell Jackson Jr., who we talked to at ACC Kickoff, another All-ACC performer, 56 votes. Peter Woods had almost 100 more. But yes, as I said yesterday, I think you could argue the most talented secondary in the league comes from Duke. And Rivers and Moore earned their spots to kind of prove it. But Clemson's not far behind. Specialists, tell me if you did. I tried to do more research in this. I don't know how to evaluate kickers. You just kind of look up like percentages and who made deep kicks and go, I don't know that guy. So Colin Rogers, SMU, ends up the place kicker. The punter, Jack Stonehouse from Syracuse. They have a history of cranking out great punters. And then the specialist, Desmond Reed of Pitt. I had DeMond Claiborne there. I think a little bit more dynamic in the kick return game, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. How about this? ACC football preseason player of the year? Cade Klubnik ran away with this thing. 146 votes for Cade Klubnik of Clemson. Haynes King finishes in second, quarterback Georgia Tech with 9. 146-9. And then there's a potpourri of mostly quarterbacks from that point forward. Kevin Jennings with a handful of votes. Carson Beck, Kyron Drones. That feels like a bit of Beck at Miami gets 4. Kyron Drones from Virginia Tech gets 4. I'm not even sure he's going to keep that job the whole year. Quintavious Hudgens, defensive end from Boston College, got a couple votes for player of the year.
CJ Bailey, NC State quarterback, got
that.
2 votes for ACC preseason player of the year.
That makes more sense to me than a few of the guys above him. I still don't think it probably is warranted, but it makes more sense than others. Lewis Bond, Boston College wide receiver, gets a vote for player of the year.
Friend of the program.
Yeah, it was really nice, really cool catching up with him. 183 votes. One of them thought Lewis Bond is going to be the player of the year. He had 62 catches last year. Anything stand out to you, Dennis?
Nothing really. No, I voted Cade Klubnik.
Yeah,
pretty straightforward.
I'm talking like all ACC lists. Anything egregious, anything noteworthy that I missed in my first little reaction here on air?
No, relatively straightforward, I think.
I agree. Few little tweaks that I would go with, but then the world isn't going to be seen the same through everyone's eyes. All right. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Shall we jump into a ladder challenge to round out the month of July? So, not great for me last night.
Me neither.
So you're back down to 10 as well?
Back down to 10.
Oh, man, I wish I would have known that before I scheduled the bet that I'm making tonight. Last night I had Shohei Ohtani to have 2 or more hits. You want to hear the roller coaster of emotions I went through? So he was pitching and hitting, right? So he's the pitcher and the DH. He was pulled from the mound early after throwing 6 consecutive balls and then showing some discomfort in his arm. So I got that notification and I was like, oh, he's not gonna get 2 hits. He hurt himself pitching, and then he stayed in his DH, and I was like, we're back in business. And then he finished 0 for 5, and I was like, no. So I rode the roller coaster of emotions, but I'm back down to 10. What happened with yours?
My bet last night was I had an upset last night. The Colorado Rockies beating the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland won 8-3.
All right, so we're down to 1 bet to rule them all. Dennis, you have the honors.
I'm going to stay away from the Hall of Fame game. Going to stay away. I know you're going there.
Scared.
Staying away from it.
Have you heard a term, scared money don't make no money?
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to go Cincinnati Reds at home against the Atlanta Braves, minus a run and a half. It's a plus 113.
Soft. I'm betting on the game that not even the players really know what's going to happen. I'm betting on the game that is pure chaos in a bottle. I don't know why it's in a bottle. I'm taking Trey Lance to throw a touchdown pass on his first drive. It is plus 1,000.
Okay.
Trey Lance has played NFL football. He's been a NFL starter. Gets hurt often, but he's played NFL football.
Yeah.
The defense shouldn't be stellar out there. Something like, a real gritty, slow-moving drive down to the 5. Then you get him on an RPO because he's got the speed, a little dump off to a tight end. Touchdown on the first drive. Turn my $10 into 110.
There's been a lot of guys who have started games in the NFL at quarterback who had no business starting games in the NFL as a quarterback.
Yeah, but if they started games in the NFL, they probably had business starting the Hall of Fame game. Trey Lance, by the way, I just to put it all on Front Street, I did make this bet when I thought Dennis was going to be way ahead of me, so I needed like big plus odds. So I went plus 1,000, hoping to chase him down. But still, Trey Lance is going to make it happen for me. Trey Lance, baby, 3rd overall pick. Shout out to North Dakota State and the state of Minnesota where he played his high school ball. Kyle Shanahan doesn't miss on quarterbacks. May have missed on that one. That, by the way, the Hall of Fame game you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan.
That you can.
So you can listen to at least the first couple of drives, and listen to Trey Lance make me some money.
Can't wait to see him throw a pick six.
I should look into the details if that counts.
No,
it
does not count.
Throw a touchdown pass on his first drive. It does not clarify to which team. I'll look into the details. I don't think that would count. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's how the ladder challenge will end unless we have to go to a sudden death overtime in August. We also have to decide how we want to format it for August. We've had our fun in the summer. Now we have to move forward. Ladder challenge complete. It is Thursday, which means it's time for Panthers Cons and Cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Confidence. Cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? Starting today, we'll probably settle into a rhythm of doing it every Friday for the Carolina Panthers. During the summer, we kind of bounce around and do it for whoever's making news. Could be the Hurricanes, could be an ACC team. But here in the fall, we do tend to kind of lock in on the Carolina Panthers and occasionally also do college football teams. So you can start scheduling it, around this time, kind of this segment. We will throw our biggest confidences and biggest concerns about the Carolina Panthers. As always, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? Give me the bad news.
Bad news.
Let's start with the concerns. Dennis, why don't you go ahead and lead off? Because I have one that I want to spread my legs on a little bit.
Okay. My concern, still depth on defense, particularly at linebacker and secondary. Particularly at linebacker and secondary.
The reason I sit mine is literally depth at every position on defense.
I'm actually comfortable with the defensive line. I really am. But to me, it's depth at inside backer and at corner that's really concerns me. Because I actually really like J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, Shaw Smith-Wade. Shaw Smith-Wade being that nickel slot corner. I'm comfortable with those three. It's just after that, question marks.
I phrased this question to myself earlier today. By the way, my concern, as I said, depth at every position on the defense. Can you name one starter on defense that could get hurt, say for, like the initial timeline is for 4 to 6 weeks, right? Something like I don't know, some kind of strain or break. 4 to 6 weeks is the high ankle sprain. Name one starter on defense that could get hurt for 4 to 6 weeks, and you wouldn't be terrified about what that's going to do to the defense. Maybe an interior defensive lineman not named Derek Brown.
I say maybe if it was Ashawn Robinson or Bobby Brown, maybe DJ Wanham.
Anyone on the edge, I don't know who the starter is at the edge yet. And if I'm not ready to just go, well, you have Scorton and McMillan, so you're good. Like, those are second and third round pick rookies. If anyone in the secondary starting lineup gets hurt, alarm bells are going off. If anyone in the linebacker, if Roseboom or Trevin Wallace get hurt, alarms are sounding full steam. If Derek Brown gets hurt, we saw what last year looked like when Derek Brown got hurt. Not to say they didn't improve, but to say that guy, due to being just a star in and of himself, is that darn important. The depth on defense, sometimes when you're worried about depth, you're worrying about two guys deep on the depth chart. Like, I'm worried about if anyone gets hurt for more than a week or two on defense, you'll feel my blood pressure as a Panthers supporter kind of rise. And that's not great. Now, what did I say at the beginning of the show? I said I'm going to try to be optimistic. So I'm going to try to use, because I posed this question on Twitter and people basically got back to me with the same thing. Somebody said Sir Per, which, clever. But somebody also got back and said, you know what? I'm just happy we're worried about depth and not the starters. I guess that's a tiny silver lining, although I don't want to say I don't have any worries about the starters either. It's just I'm terrified about the depth. But yes, I suppose last year we never really worried about the depth too much because we were too busy with the check engine light on for a couple spots on the starting lineup. So maybe there is a bit of a silver lining there. But, I mean, the 2 deep, yikes. All right, let's get to the fun part. That is the concern. The other part of cons and cons, what are you most confident about for the Carolina Panthers? Dennis, what are you rolling with?
My confidence is going to be what Dave Canales said this team is supposed to be built on. That's running the football. When you have the continuity of your offensive line, not just all 5 starters coming back, but also the 9 total offensive linemen that played for you last year, at least significant snaps, all those guys back. So you have continuity in that regard. You have the same offense for the first time in like 6 years in terms of the same play caller coming back. So you have that, and then you also just simply have Chuba Hubbard, who's was just shy of 1,200 yards rushing last year. Oh, and then you added another 1,000-yard running back in Rico Dowdle. Yeah, I'm confident this team running the football. As much as we glaze over the receivers and what they've been doing right now, let's not forget what this team's strength was last year offensively, which was pounding the rock.
My confidence is the offensive line.
Okay.
And it ain't changing. That is a king of the hill situation where if you want to be the confidence for the Carolina Panthers, you have to go unseat the offensive line. Somebody's got to go knock them off the throne. Taylor Moton is getting choked up with the media about how he's in a contract year and his future with Carolina is uncertain. The O-line is bought in, baby. They are invested. They are a lot of reps next to each other, which is so important for offensive line. They're ferocious individuals. They care about each other. The confidence is the offensive line, and it ain't changing until somebody else proves that they are more worthy. Right? It's heavyweight champ. You can't win on the cards. You got to knock them out. It is the offensive line is my confidence for the Carolina Panthers. And I think that's going to show itself in a bunch of different ways, right? If Ike Ekwonu can be a better pass protector, you might be able to use Tetairoa and McMillan on a few longer developing routes, right? If they continue to road grade the running game, the play action becomes something that Bryce Young can use as a weapon. I just talked about how I'm terrified of the depth of the defense. Well, do you know what's one way to make sure you don't have to rotate that many guys in on defense? Hold the darn ball on offense. Right? We talked with Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers, earlier. He highlighted the interior defensive line as something that he thinks they've improved a bunch on since last year. And he also referenced the size of some of those interior defensive linemen. Right? Derek Brown, 320. Bobby Brown, 340. Turk Wharton, he referenced what he calls thighs sequoias, I believe is what he rolled with there. Ashawn Robinson, we know how legendary the dimensions of his height and weight are. There is a lot of strength. There is, and he referenced squatting numbers for some of those guys. Like, there's a lot of strength and a lot of size in the interior defensive line, which is lovely, which is great. In my experience, the 340-pound dudes that can deep squat a Volkswagen are not usually the kind of guys that can be out there for 85 plays a game, right? They're the guys that are rotating out, particularly on hot days, right? So if the offense can hold the ball, can run, can pick up first downs, can stay on the field in third down, can lean on that offensive line to build sustained drives, now the strength of your team doesn't need to rotate out as much. Everything's connected, and the offensive line can be the engine until another position proves to me they're more deserving. They are my confidence for the Carolina Panthers. And by the way, that's by design. everything we've seen action-wise, right? Not what you say, what you do. Everything we've seen action-wise since Dan Morgan and Dave Canales moved into the two decision-making chairs for the Carolina Panthers has been, well, let's start building as close to the football at the snap as possible and move outwards, right? They started with the offensive line, the next offseason, the defensive line, particularly the interior of the defensive line. They spent on a running back. They obviously inherited Bryce Young, but there's an investment at the quarterback position. They've worked very hard to build the trenches. So the fact that one of those is the confidence is not surprising to me. So there you go. That's a little Panthers cons and cons for you here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. If you agree or disagree, we'd love to hear from you. You can hit us up in the YouTube comments. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We have a live stream there every day. You can put your cons and cons if you want down there in the comments. I meant to ask you, Dennis, and this is one for on-air, off-air, but do we have results to the poll we posted yesterday?
About NC State and Duke and Carolina. So, yes, the poll results were – so we put out a poll yesterday on our YouTube live chat asking people listening, watching, who do you think is going to have the best football season this upcoming year? Duke, UNC, NC State. Duke actually had the majority of votes at about 42% of the votes.
So they were the leading vote getter.
Leading vote getter. NC State was second behind that, and then North Carolina came in third. But State and Carolina were relatively close.
All right, that probably tracks. ACC preseason poll from the media, UNC was a couple spots ahead of NC State. But as far as local kind of, catching the pulse of sports talk here in the Triangle with fans and other media members, I think most expect State to be a little bit better, although there is the wild card of Bill Belichick. You don't really know how that's going to go.
I voted NC State one slot ahead of North Carolina in my preseason poll.
I think I had them 2 slots ahead.
I had Duke higher. I had Duke, I think, actually third. I'm very bullish on Duke this football season. I really am.
I thought of the ACC as tiers, and they are in the top tier. I have 6 teams in my top tier, and they're one of them. 3 might be a little high. I'd probably have them somewhere 4 to 6, but I'm not nitpicking that too hard. A quick update on tonight's Hall of Fame game.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the Chargers, has said that Trey Lance will be the quarterback. We talked about it earlier.
Okay.
He will play, according to Harbaugh, into the third quarter.
Oh, wow.
Before being replaced by undrafted rookie free agent acquisition, DJ Uiagalelei.
No way. Wait, hold on.
They're going to go from Lance to Uiagalelei.
DJ Uiagalelei is on a training camp roster?
He's on the Chargers.
Yeah, I did not even think that he even – okay.
And the emergency quarterback –
Good for him.
First of all, the Chargers love filling their quarterback room with, that guy. They have Trey Lance playing most of the game. DJ Uiagalelei will come in at some point in the third, according to Harbaugh. And their emergency quarterback, if like injuries occur, Taylor Heineke. They just have a whole bunch of, that guy's still in the league, huh? And Herbert will be watching the whole thing like, yep, these are the guys I practice with.
That's wild.
That is. Hey, as far as a game that's like mostly no names, those are 3 like celebrities at least. They've been in big moments at different levels of their career.
DJ Uiagalelei, man, you want to talk about the hype train that was built off of one game.
Yeah.
Came in for Trevor
against
Lawrence,
Notre Dame, yeah.
against Notre Dame,
broke
lit
records.
it up.
Broke records.
Yeah, and then that was it.
And for the Lions, again, these are not famous names. Most of the reps are expected to be split between Kyle Allen and Hendon Hooker for the Lions.
Hendon Hooker from the state of North Carolina.
From the state of North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and then Tennessee. Before he blew out his knee at Tennessee, he was like in the Heisman race. Kyle Allen, obviously, comes with a little bit of Carolina lore. What was it, 5-0 in his first 5 starts with the Panthers?
Yeah, remember everyone was like, especially the national media, well, they've won 5 games with Kyle Allen. Maybe they should trade Cam Newton. Maybe they should just ride into the future with Kyle Allen. Yeah, how'd that work out?
He's playing in the Hall of Fame game for the Lions.
Exactly.
So those are 5 quarterbacks playing in the Hall of Fame that I've watched like full games of multiple times. That's pretty impressive for a Hall of Fame game. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself it'll be fun to watch, but it seems like it's going to be fun to watch tonight.
You're going to have fun either way because it's football.
You're darn right. It's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a feedback frenzy coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner and wherever you get your podcast.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank and a member FDIC.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is kind of a fun fact. Before we get into a feedback frenzy, Pro Football Focus has put out their rankings for toughest and easiest schedules in college football.
Okay.
The easiest Power 5 schedule.
Who's that?
Wake Forest.
That makes sense.
Some would say they, kind of bounced on a top 25 game to play Oregon State and thus solidified their easiest schedule. But maybe that means that the win total is something they can chase a little bit above expectations because the schedule is a little easy.
I mean, it makes sense because you got Kennesaw State, Western Carolina in there.
They bailed on someone. I think they were supposed to play like Ole Miss, and they bought their way out of it to play Oregon State.
I mean, Delaware's on their roster on their schedule.
Well, can you imagine how bad it would be if they weren't playing Delaware? How easy their schedule would look if they weren't playing the Blue Hens?
For real.
At least they got one tough game in November too.
Yeah, they don't have in ACC play. They don't have Clemson. They don't have Miami,
and they don't have Louisville.
Yeah, no Louisville either. Their toughest in-conference game is Georgia Tech, or actually Duke, I should say.
Yep.
Duke, Georgia Tech. Then it's SMU, I should say as well.
So my point is they got According to PFF, Pro Football Focus, the easiest schedule amongst power conference teams. Toughest, if you're wondering, Florida. Florida's schedule is tough. I'll just put it that.
Yeah, it was like that last year, too.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into a feedback frenzy. This is where Dennis checks the entire internet. He literally checked it all. Combed through every last weird corner of the internet to find the feedback you've given us for the show.
I can't say everything I saw.
And he brings it here on air for us to respond. Dennis, what do you got?
All right, so this YouTube user who previously went by Reagan, R-E-G-A-N, has changed their handle to Hagisty, H-A-G-I-S-T-Y.
Okay.
This person is a very big supporter of Jesperi Kotkaniemi. I just want to go ahead and throw that out there. So this is the person who we've brought it up in the past.
Gotcha.
And it's interesting how they changed their name. But hey, you know what? It's fine. It's up to you. So we had a conversation yesterday about how the Carolina Hurricanes are poised for sustained success.
Mm-hmm.
And this person who's changed their name said, Tim wanted Blakey, referring to Jackson Blake, traded so badly. Now he can shift his focus back to demanding that Svetch be traded. And now he doesn't like Cooch, as in Kochetkov. Wow, poor Timmy has so many wants and needs. This is the guy that said that when we have our tent set up outside of Lenovo Center that he's going to come see it and say it to our faces, by the way.
First of all, I still love Kochetkov. That's still don't pretend like I've gotten off that. I might be the only one, but I have beachfront property on Kochetkov Island.
Because you did say yesterday you'd like to see them add into their goaltending
yes,
and find a number 2 center.
I think that's more an indication of Freddie's age. And anyway, also, you have to be realistic with decision making. Just because you like a guy, even if he struggles, you can't just sit back and go, it's unrealistic that they make moves. Maybe that's a lesson you could learn about Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Listen, I never wanted them to trade Blake. I've been accused of being excited to trade Svetch. No, what happens is, in potential trades, I want something of value in return, and other teams aren't managed by dummies. So to get something of good value in return, you have to give up something of good value.
See Mikko Rantanen, Martin Necas.
Exactly. That doesn't mean if you were excited to acquire Mikko Rantanen, the first Mikko Rantanen trade before we knew he hated it here, that doesn't mean you hated Martin Necas. That just means you understood the price of acquiring a player like Mikko Rantanen includes giving up something of value. So if I evaluated a possible trade and decided, even with Jackson Blake included in the package, I'm still excited about this potential trade, that doesn't mean I wanted to trade Blake. It means I liked the value of the trade. And now that he's locked up for 9 years, I'm excited to have him as part of the core. And for Kotkaniemi, I've said this a bunch of times. If he can be the fourth line center, I'm in. $4.8 million per is a little much for a fourth line center, but if you can work it into the cap because you have great deals elsewhere, I'm in. I just think he's not producing at the level you'd want from your second line center. All right, hopefully that explained myself a little bit. What else you got?
Oh, it did. And now, actually, I'll continue on with this same conversation. This one comes from Exertion, along the same lines of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
The Canes need to overpay for a Marco Rossi or Mason McTavish trade, if that's even possible. Significant lack of organizational center depth kills the team on trade market, as teams usually never trade away a good center without receiving one in return.
I agree. I've talked about this. It's maybe my favorite hockey metaphor going right now. Centers are like pickup trucks, right? If you're getting a new car, you almost never trade in the pickup, right? Because you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to keep it just in case I got to move a mattress, right? Just in case I got to do some yard work. I want to keep the pickup. Because of that, it's very rare to get a good deal on a pickup truck out there because people just don't sell them. They're too youthful. So centers, no one's ever like, yeah, let me go trade in this center for something else because they're too useful. So if you do want to get, and I saw a stat kicking around Twitter on how many second-line centers, like true second-line centers in the league, were pacing at like 60 or 65 points over an 82-game stretch, and there weren't that many. Like, if you want a legit second-line center, you're going to have to pay up. And I know I use the term overpay sometimes. That's also not technically an overpay. Like, if there is a scarce resource and you have to pay a lot for it, that's not necessarily an overpay. That's market rate. The good news is the Canes have, for the most part, kind of settled all of their needs on their roster. So they can be patient. They can kind of pounce on a market inefficiency. If a team struggles this year and becomes seller at the deadline, and they're asking for just an arm and a leg and not an arm and a leg and your firstborn, they can jump on that to go get their center. I think they are going to be monitoring that market aggressively.
All right, yesterday we had the reveal of the preseason poll in terms of predicted finish in the Atlantic Coast Conference in the ACC. This one comes from Joey Terry. By the way, Clemson predicted to finish number one in the conference. Joey Terry says this on YouTube. Yeah, this means nothing. Remember that last year Florida State crash and burn, Miami fizzle out, and Duke won.
Duke
won last year.
They just won games.
Yeah.
Not they won the ACC.
Yeah.
Yes. I preseason polls are by no means 100% accurate. It would actually kind of ruin the season if they were. If we sat here and said, well, we know how it's going to finish, let's just play the season out anyway. That's just not how it goes. What it does, though, is it shows, I would say, like, where coaches have to make their money, right? If you're picked to finish last and you win the ACC, SMU last year, Rhett Lashley, their coach earned his money, right? He took a team that, to the layman, looked at it and said, they're not going to be near the top, and almost, or did, I should say, crash the CFP. Like, it's a baseline is what it is. And it's also a bit of a time capsule, right? It's kind of, did you do any time capsules in like elementary school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like you break it out and you go, ha ha, I used to think that NSYNC was a good band. Ha 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 ha. Right, like that kind of stuff. It's kind of the same. Like at the end of the year, we can break open the time capsule and go, wow, Cade Klubnik, player of the year, really? Guess we didn't see Darian Mensah coming at all. Like maybe that's one of the conversations we have, but it's fun to see. It's more of a thought exercise than it is anything concrete.
All right, a couple days ago, you guys had a conversation regarding how NC State fans should be excited about CJ Bailey, who, by the way, got a couple votes for preseason player of the year. This one comes from Taylor Reinhart. Dave, referring to Dave Dorn, Dave Dorn will hold him back and the offense like usual. I don't get why he wants to win ugly. He has had great defenses, yet won't take chances on offense. Air it out, and if you get picked, at least you have a defense that can hold. He does the opposite and is hesitant and puts the defense in a worse position. He has to let the offense score more points because they are going to need it.
I know that's the reputation. I remember Leary airing it out kind of a good amount a couple years ago. Here's the deal. If we only look at last year, I think that's unfair. When you have a true freshman that was not supposed to start thrust into the lineup, I think it's unfair to look at the coach and be like, you got to air it out, man. Why are you protecting the quarterback? Even if the quarterback is showing flashes of being something special. This year, if they don't let him push the ball downfield more, if they don't take a few more chances, I'll be right there with you. Because I do think part of what CJ Bailey has is that whippy arm, that real spin it kind of throwing motion, and taking chances downfield to guys like Noah Rogers, Justin Jolie, and others is part of the appeal. So I won't knock him as much for the last couple of years, but if it doesn't improve this year as far as pushing it downfield and letting his quarterback eat a little, I'll be disappointed. There you go. Feedback frenzy. Appreciate all the feedback. Continue to leave comments, YouTube, social media, and otherwise. You just might hear them right here on the show. Before we move on, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, you maxed out on your credit cards. Maybe you're struggling with some high-interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is outstanding. One Loan Pronto client recently just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They were able to pay off debt, renovate their kitchen, and most importantly, they cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a pretty huge turnaround. Instant appraisals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Here's the thing about your home equity, folks. It's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Give Loan Pronto a call now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, as the starting five coming up next. And yes, there are new rules involving NIL. Again, stick around.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yes, give me my good friends. Give me that dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Hurry into Family Fare to get 2 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew for just $4. Family Fare, first in thirst.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at richielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We do have showers and storms in our forecast this evening. Overnight, partly to mostly cloudy, 75 the low. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Our cold front goes through. Showers and storms more likely in our southern counties, the high at 88.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 330 points today to 44,130. Market update brought to you by Bolton Construction Services. Bolton is actively hiring experienced HVAC techs with a $2,500 sign-on bonus. As a family-owned leader in HVAC, Bolton puts people first. Don't miss out. Apply now at boltonservice.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Thursday to you all. Do we call it opening day in the NFL?
No.
Okay.
That's a little too much.
Well, happy Hall of Fame game day in the NFL. And happy 5 o'clock. It's time for the starting five at 5. And as always, we start with number 5.
Count 'em. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The most reactive organization on the planet is once again reacting. The NCAA and the College Sports Commission, CSC for short, they should make t-shirts, is loosening its blanket prohibition on athletes receiving payments from NIL collectives, according to a memo sent out to athletic directors across college sports earlier this morning. Now, you may be like, wait a second. Collectives weren't allowed to pay players? I thought that's all that the collectives were made to... I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. The NCAA is in a really... and the College Sports Commission is in a really tough spot. Because pretty much everything they want to do is being immediately challenged in court, and they're batting like 0% in court. So they're like, fine, we can pay players. NIL is okay. But we're going to limit it a ton. And players said, excuse me, we're going to take this. All right, we're going to limit it a little less. Is that okay? Please say it's okay. Because right now, with the original, I don't even want to say original, the way it had been set up before this morning was collectives were pretty much not going to be allowed to pay players. Right? If you had an NIL endorsement, the team would have to submit it to NIL Go, which was a third-party evaluator that would judge whether the endorsement was market rate or not, and they would judge whether the company paying the NIL endorsement was actually receiving value or if they were paying just to get a player to stay, which essentially eliminated collectives. Now they are saying, fine, collectives can pay, but they will still face significantly more scrutiny when trying to sign deals with players than they had in past years. Can I let you guys in? Can I tell the future here for a second? Because against my will, I've been following this NIL situation so darn closely just to stay up to date on situations like this. I'm going to give you a peek behind the curtain of how this is going to go. A player will sign an NIL deal with a collective, because that's going to be accepted now. And they will submit it, and it will go through the significantly more scrutiny, and it will get declined, and some lawyer will say, I got this. And they will take the NCAA and the College Sports Commission to court, and they will learn that they're not allowed to do that. There's no reason for them to decline the NIL endorsement. If it gets that far. What is more likely to have happen is they'll threaten to go to court, and the NCAA and the College Sports Commission will once again react. They will change the rules rather than guessing what's going to happen. I mean, it's the most predictable thing on the planet. And the fact that they keep being surprised by it is hilarious. We're almost my almost 6-month-old. She'll be 6 months in a week. She's almost to like the same cognitive power that the NCAA is. We're almost to the point where like Jack in the Boxes become a thing, where boing, and then and she laughs, ha ha ha. Then you put it back in and you do it again, and she's surprised again 15 seconds later. That's basically what the NCAA is right now. They're like, we're going to put in a rule and we're going to limit the NIL earning ability of players. We're not allowed to do that? About 2 weeks later, all right, we're adjusting the rules. We're going to limit the NIL earnings of a player. We're not allowed to do that? It's like, it's been 15 seconds. It's the same surprise. It is much more fun to do that to a 6-month-old than to a multi-billion-dollar organization. Anything to add, Dennis, before we move on?
No.
All right, that's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
You want to know how I am 100% sure that baseball has become an unbelievably regionalized sport? We are 54 minutes away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline. I don't really care. And I like baseball, by the way. Like I enjoy watching. I'm a Mets fan. I enjoy watching baseball. I think it's a day at the park is fantastic. I enjoy going to the Durham Bulls, all the wood bat leagues in the area. Like there's baseball, how can you not be romantic about baseball? But it's without a local team, it's hard to get into the extra, right? In football, what's going on? In football, 12 months a year, right? In football, free agency and players demanding trades and actual trades and draft and combine. Like, it's a whole thing. In baseball, it is too, but you really only care about, like, the team that's going to be nearby. And we just happen to be a couple, 100 miles away from the closest team. Is this a roundabout way to say bring Major League Baseball to the Triangle? Maybe. Then we'd be really into it. Right now, we'd be updating trade trackers and talking salary cap hits and everything else. But we're not.
I think we're all like, all right, who the Dodgers going to pay for? Who the Yankees going to pay for?
No, the thing that...
I mean, that's just like perception, right?
No, the thing that's crazy to me, and again, I do not pay attention super close, is at the deadline, the Dodgers always have prospects to give up to, because they're like, at the deadline, it's not free agency, right? The Dodgers can't just write a check. But I feel like they're always the team trading for the rentals, and I'm like, are they the best drafting team in the world too? How do they keep having AAA studs that are being willing to do away with? That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
There's the shotgun snap. 4-man rush. Young with time. Sends it deep downfield for Thielen. Makes the catch in the end zone for a Carolina touchdown.
Go.
So I thought I was the only one cold-blooded enough to float an idea like this one. But it turns out Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer, ice water in his veins as well. Maybe suggesting the Panthers could trade Adam Thielen? Let's go to the audio. Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer.
I could see a contender coming by and being like, hey, we'll give you a 5th for Adam Thielen. And, I mean, you might be hard-pressed to say no if you even Hunter and think he can be a starting slot receiver.
So let's answer with the obvious, okay?
The Hunter he's referring to, by the way, is Hunter Renfrow.
Is there another Hunter?
I don't know, but just to make sure people understand that.
I was like, wait a second, I only know of one Hunter. Hunter Green, baseball trade deadline? If the question is, would you trade Adam Thielen? The answer is not yes or no. The answer is what's the offer, right? There's a number on everybody. If a contender wants to be ridiculous and overpay for Adam Thielen because they think they're an Adam Thielen away from winning a Super Bowl, the answer is a resounding yes. If we say it's a fair offer, and something like a 5th I would consider fair, maybe Adam Thielen and a lower round pick for a slightly higher round pick, meaning like a Adam Thielen and a 7th for a 4th, something like that from a contender is going to be a low 4th. That's where it gets interesting. Now, actually, Dennis, I'll put you on the spot before I answer. I think you know my answer.
Okay.
Adam Thielen for a 5th. You doing it? From a contender, so expect it to be, the 26th or later 5th. A playoff team, if you will.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a real tough question. Because one thing I have to take into consideration is what's the health of the rest of my receivers.
Let's say there's no long-term concern for Tetairoa, McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Hunter Renfrow. Who am I missing? Moore,
Jimmy Horn,
and Jimmy Horn Jr.
So those 6 guys,
I'm not saying they're all 100%. Like Renfro's overstretching with the hurt guys, but it's not like something you expect to have them out for months. It's more like a week or 2.
That's tough for.
So basically, for this hypothetical, I'm saying the exact situation they are currently actually in.
So the exact situation.
There's no hypothetical at all. Like right now.
Oh, that's a coin toss for me. I feel I'd be tempted to take it.
I'm taking it for a few reasons. One, I actually think Renfrow and David Moore can fulfill a little bit of the wizened old veteran role that Thielen plays so well. The other is, do you know who I haven't heard enough about this preseason? Especially because the wide receiver room is being talked about a boatload. I've heard almost nothing about Jalen Coker. Jalen Coker, at times last year, was their best wide receiver. Like, there were stretches where an undrafted free agent rookie was their best wide receiver on an NFL team. If you find that kind of diamond in the rough, you don't want to just discard it because you got some 35-year-old wide receiver that has been better when healthy, but you're loyal to. Here's my fever dream, okay? You get I would try to package him with like a 7th or a 6th to get up a little bit higher than a 5th, but I'm nitpicking. My fever dream is Tetairoa, McMillan, the stereotypical alpha wide receiver, right? Target demander, get the ball a bunch. Xavier Legette is given a lot of opportunities. I believe by the end of this year, you need to know everything you can know about Xavier Legette to make a decision, right? Either last year, lack of production was due to injuries and jitters, or that's a bigger problem and you got to know. But the only way you find out if he's a dude or not is you got to play him. If Renfro is everything everybody's saying, Renfro needs a role, and I want Jalen Coker out there in 4 wides. Right there, that's my group. Jimmy Horn Jr. obviously brings a specific skill set of speed, and you can use that where it is needed. And David Moore becomes the guy that's been in the offense the longest, has the long history with Dave Canales, knows all 4 of the wide receiver positions. If anybody gets hurt, he can fill in. If anybody needs a breather, he can fill in. Obviously, you're hoping on that health for everybody, but at a certain point, you have to look around and say, is Adam Thielen going to be a part of our team when we are contending? And if he's not, do you want to just hold on to him with both hands until his value is 0? Or do you want to get something that could turn into an asset down the road? And I can hear everybody saying it. It's the leadership. He's the only one that gets up. Yep. I don't think this is a parting on bad terms. I think you involve Adam Thielen in his representation. Which teams are you interested in? We'll try to set you up in a good situation. Send you to a contender. Send you to a quarterback you like. Send you to a play caller you like. And hopefully you bring back a pick that will help us in the future. That's number 3. Now number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
Hall of Fame game tonight, everybody. NFL preseason tonight.
We'll have it right here on the Fan.
You're darn right we will. I have a list. This is like remember Letterman used to do top 10s? I got a top 5. 5 things to watch. Some funny, some real. Number 5 is something real. How can you not romanticize football? The dreams that are being reached tonight. There are, I guarantee you, players on both rosters, Chargers, Lions, Hall of Fame game. There are players that have worked their entire lives, starting at like flag football when they were 4 or 5 years old, have worked their entire lives to master the game of football, and they've almost done it. And the highlight of their football playing career will be tonight. They will have worn an NFL jersey, played in an NFL game, made a play on an NFL field, and they might be cut tomorrow, but you can't take tonight away from them.
Playing on a national television spotlight.
National television, texting every coach that ever benched them. How you like me now? There's and like the difference between guys, like in skill level, the difference between the guys that make it to the Hall of Fame game and are on just a camp roster and are cut and never catch back on again, and the guys that play in the league 10 years, the difference is minuscule. Tiny. Think about it. How many running backs are on an NFL roster each year? Like 3 and maybe a 4th on the practice squad. That's 128 running backs on a. If you throw 2-3 more on each roster during training camp, you could be, honestly, right now, the 150th best in the world at what you do. And tonight might be the highlight of your career. So let them enjoy it and enjoy watching it, right? How can you not be romantic about football? Somebody's dream is they're going to frame that jersey from tonight and put it in their house forever. Tell their grandkids they wore it in a Super Bowl and scored 2 touchdowns. Number 4 to watch tonight in the Hall of Fame game. Jim Harbaugh is always entertaining. The dude is wild. He told his team that he remembers his own birth. I'm not making that up.
That's wild.
He claims to have a memory of when he was born. How about this one? He takes ice baths, like, post-practice ice baths for recovery, fully clothed. He's got the shirt, he's got the khakis, he's got the polo, keeps the belt on, just hops right in the water. Gets out, dries off, puts on new khakis, new polo, new belt. A recruit, this is my favorite. This is when he was at Michigan, a 5-star kicker for a kicker. The recruit once said about a recruiting visit, he, meaning Jim Harbaugh, said we could watch a movie, see how well we gel, and he said he would sleep over after that. He told me if I had a 6'3" piece of carpet for him to sleep on, that would be enough. I said, we have some guest rooms. And he said, tell you what, I'll just sleep on the floor in your room. That guy's coaching in the NFL tonight. Imagine having Dan Campbell there and going, well, the other guy's more crazy. That's number 4. Number 3, a serious one. To honor Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Sharp. That's why the Hall of Fame game exists. That's the incoming Hall of Fame class. Sometimes I don't feel bad for them because they're going to the NFL Hall of Fame. But if you don't have the headliner, can you imagine how much more of pomp and circumstance your induction weekend feels if you just happen to be going in the same year as Tom Brady? And then you get a year where is Antonio Gates the headliner here? Jared Allen? It's probably a pretty low-key weekend as far as Hall of Fame inductions.
It's not the sexiest Hall of Fame.
Exactly. Class. You just throw Peyton Manning up there, now it's like Woodstock for your Hall of Fame induction. So hype it up, everybody. They gave their bodies to the game just like everybody else. Fun fact, or it's actually not fun at all, but it just shows how different sports are. I racked my brain pretty hard. I think Antonio Gates is the first guy going into the NFL Hall of Fame who's been suspended for PEDs. So they're kind of breaking the seal on it, right? Because he had a 4-game suspension for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy late in his career. And he's going into the Hall of Fame.
That baseball would never.
That's kind of what I'm saying. And it's just being swept under the rug. Nobody's even mentioning it in football.
It's funny, you mentioned that, all the up in arms about Major League Baseball and the PEDs and the steroid era. And, these guys shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. For football, it's okay.
For literally,
it's just, okay.
Nobody's mentioning that whole PED suspension thing, right?
Yeah.
All they're talking about is Phillip Rivers threw him a lot of touchdowns, right? That's all they're talking about. Number 2, gambling. I mean, the over is set at 32.5. Bet the over and root for those no names to have a career highlight, everybody. 32.5. Couple of blown coverages and you're halfway there.
Exactly.
Number 1, Omarion Hampton's first carries in an NFL uniform. Could be the start of something special for the North Carolina running back with the Los Angeles Chargers. And addendum, obviously, those are things we're looking for. The number 1 thing we're hoping for is everybody stay healthy. That is number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Go 1!
The All-ACC teams preseason edition came out earlier today. Dennis, I have closed out my email. Do you have them in front of you? Can you give us the details?
I do.
Let's hear them.
All right, so your preseason quarterback and preseason ACC Player of the Year, to no surprise, Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik is your ACC preseason Player of the Year, also voted preseason quarterback. The running backs are Isaac Brown from Louisville and Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech. Wide receivers are Antonio Williams and Bryant Wesco Jr. from Clemson. Also Chris Bell from Louisville. Tight end, NC State's Justin Jolie, preseason All-ACC for tight end. The all-purpose player, the all-purpose running back is Desmond Reed out of Pitt. The offensive linemen go as Francis Mauigoa from Miami, along with Brake Miller. Those are your from Clemson. Those are the offensive tackles. Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech, as well as Walker Parks from Clemson, are your guards. And Ryan Linthicum from Clemson is your center to start things off.
Okay, here's the question I'm going to pose to myself. Dennis, you can feel free to answer it as well. Who from each of the triangle, one player from each of the teams in the triangle, is not on that list that has the potential to be on the postseason version of that list?
I selected Brian Parker, the second from Duke, the offensive tackle, on my preseason all ballot.
I think Parker's is a fairly obvious answer
on the
there.
Offensive side, yes.
It's a position that to make it, which is big, and he's pretty darn good. Does anyone stand out for you for NC State or UNC?
No. I mean, Justin Jolie was the one selection that I had. And unless Noah Rogers potentially has a big breakout season, maybe there's one there. But Justin Jolie was my pick for tight end.
I think somebody like Brandon Cleveland maybe on defense, if he has a really big season on the interior defensive line, is going to have to get after the quarterback more. But you have to remember with the change of scheme, he's going to be asked to get after the quarterback more, going to more of a 4-down front occasionally rather than 3. So that's one I would potentially throw out there.
Well, let's get to the defensive side of things. I read the offense. I didn't read the defense.
Okay, go ahead quickly.
Sure thing. Defensive ends, T.J. Parker from Clemson and Ruben Bain from Miami. Defensive tackles, Peter Woods from Clemson, Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. The linebackers are Kyle Lewis from Pitt, Wade Woodaz from Clemson, as well as Sammy Brown from Clemson. The defensive backs at corner, you have Avion Terrell from Clemson, Chandler Rivers from Duke, Isaiah Nakobia from SMU, and Terry Moore from Duke are your safeties.
Duke's secondary is really good.
Yeah, they are.
Does anybody stand out for you for North Carolina who is not on either of those lists that might be?
With so many new guys, it's hard to predict. It really is.
I talked to you about this off air. I didn't vote this person in because it's one of those deals where it's like I want to see it for myself before I go this far. A lot of people who I trust that cover UNC are very, very high on Jordan Shipp, the sophomore wide receiver. Wide receiver is a competitive position in the ACC. A couple of guys from Clemson are very good. Louisville has some guys that are very good. Some more established players, Boston College, on and on and on. They talk about Jordan Shipp like he walks on water a bit. So I would just throw him out there as a guy who could kind of burst onto the scene and have a very big year, particularly if Gio Lopez, Bryce Baker, Max Johnson, whoever ends up playing quarterback for Duke, for UNC, I would assume Gio Lopez, puts it together, then somebody like Shipp may end up there. That's kind of the way I would answer that question for UNC. And, I mean, you could throw some of the offensive linemen on there as well. Aiden Banfield, Austin Blasky, maybe some options there. And if you want a dark horse, it's such a competitive position. It is very tough. I'm still weirdly entranced by Darian Mensah, the quarterback at Duke. I think Klubnik's going to set the bar pretty high based on what he did last year, but if Duke wins a bunch of games and they have that narrative, maybe Mensah gets a couple votes there for quarterback. There you go. That's the starting 5 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Right now, it's time to grab some numbers game contestants. Prize for today, a $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card. But to get the gift card, you got to win the numbers game. If you want to play, you got to call in now. We need 2 contestants. The number to call is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 to play the numbers game and potentially win a $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card. Numbers game next.
How about a little taste of NFL football? The Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Herbert throws it in the air. Catch made. McConkey takes it all the way for the touchdown. 86 yards.
Detroit.
Jamison Williams gets a block, breaks the tackle, 20, staggers to the 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown, Detroit!
Tonight at 8 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry,
That was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Where do you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry. In the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. Tuesday! The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday.
Tuesday!
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Open the lid on a carton of Bluebell Homemade in the Shade, and you'll have it made, so to speak. It's a combination of our top-selling homemade vanilla ice cream with a swirl of rich chocolate fudge sauce. Enjoy an instant classic.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your neighborhood Food Lion.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. And as always, we have a couple of contestants ready to battle it out as I struggle. There we go. Andrew in Durham and Tom in Clayton. They'll be battling it out in the numbers game for a $25 Autobell car wash gift card. And as we often do, actually, just so everybody knows, we ask the same question to both contestants. They answer, and then Dennis will be the judge. He'll pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. As we often do when we're giving away Autobell car wash gift cards, we'll use one of my favorite questions. Andrew in Durham, are you there?
Yes.
All right, the question for today is, right, the Autobell car wash gift card can get your car looking spick and span brand new. What's your dream car? Money is no option. You can have anything you want. What car are you choosing?
Probably a Porsche.
Any specifics, any color, anything that needs to happen with this Porsche?
Duke Blue. I'm a Duke alum, so.
All right. We'll note the Duke Blue, and we'll see if that one gets chosen. Tom and Clayton, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, same question to you. In honor of the Autobell car wash gift card being the prize, what is your dream car, right? Money is unlimited. You can have any car you want. Which one do you want?
I want the black Trans Am that Burt Reynolds drove in Smokey and the Bandit.
All right. Both fans, right? One a fan of a movie and a movie star, one a fan of a team. They went different. Andrew went with the Duke Blue Porsche. Tom Clayton went with the black Trans Am from one of his favorite movies. Dennis, which one are you choosing? Which one gets to go first?
I mean, I got to go the Trans Am.
Oh, Burt Reynolds action?
Yeah, have to go the Trans Am. Very specific on that one. By the way, the correct answer is the Dale Earnhardt number 3 Goodyear car.
That's you could have any
yeah.
one?
Why not?
I don't know. It doesn't seem practical.
It gets me from point A to point B, doesn't it?
Can't bring friends. You guys can't.
Yeah, I don't
Porsche
care.
Or a Trans Am either. I don't know what my dream car is. I ask these questions. I never think to answer.
I'm not a big car guy. I never really have been.
Everybody's always saying, Tim, ask these questions. No one's ever asking Tim these questions. I'm kidding. I really don't care. Andrew in Durham, you will have your chance, but you have to stay on hold because Tom and Clayton is going to go first. Tom, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right. The categories are NFL players that started their college career in the AAC, now known as just the AC, the American Conference. NFL players who played in the MAC. NBA players who played at Purdue in college, or NHL Hurricanes only?
NFL players from the American Conference.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. And just so you know, even though the category is grouped on where they played in college, we are looking for the number that they wore on the NFL team that I give you. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Sauce Gardner, New York Jets.
2.
Incorrect. Isaac Bruce, Los Angeles Rams.
80.
Correct. David Garrard, Jacksonville Jaguars.
5.
Incorrect. Sauce Gardner, New York Jets.
1.
Correct. Matt Forte, Chicago Bears.
20.
Incorrect. David Garrard, Jacksonville Jaguars.
9.
Correct.
9.
Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati Bengals.
91.
Say it again. Okay, correct. Matt Forte, Chicago
91.
Bears. Matt Forte, Chicago Bears.
28. 28.
Unfortunately, that last one not correct, but you got 4 out of 5. That's pretty good, especially because I wouldn't say they were the easiest group. You got Sauce Gardner with the Jets, number 1. Isaac Bruce, you got 80. Garrard, 9. Took you a couple tries, but you got there. Matt Forte, 22 is what we were looking for. But you were in the 20s. You were kind of in the right neighborhood. Hendrickson, 91.
The last number.
Matt Forte, 22 is the only one you got wrong. You did get Trey Hendrickson with 91. There you go. So stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. Pretty good score to post. That brings us to Andrew in Durham. Andrew, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that played in the MAC conference in college, NBA players that played at Purdue in college, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll take NHL Hurricanes only.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. In this category, I will say the team name, even though we know it, because it's Hurricanes only, mostly to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. You do need all 5 to win, but we've seen it done plenty of times. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Yes, Barry Kokaniemi, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Correct. Scott Morrow, Carolina Hurricanes.
4.
Incorrect. Marcus Kruger, Carolina Hurricanes.
19.
Incorrect. Scott Morrow, Carolina Hurricanes.
44.
Incorrect. Marcus Kruger, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Pavel Brendel, Carolina Hurricanes.
15.
Incorrect. Scott Morrow, Carolina Hurricanes. Not the easiest bunch of Hurricanes to get there. Although Morrow has played kind of recently. Kokaniemi, you got it with 82. Morrow, we were looking for 56. Kruger, 16. And for good old Pavel, we were looking for 23 or 55 if you were playing at home. Would have accepted either. Unfortunately, not enough for the win, but you avoided the shutout and hopefully had some fun with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. This is first of all, congratulations to Tom and Clayton. Tom, congrats! You get your $25 Autobell car wash gift card.
Thank you.
And it sounds like you are calling us from like inside a waterfall. So I appreciate you for focusing and getting the dub. But stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you to make sure you get your prize.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, he's at the car wash already.
Maybe. I'm already spending my winnings. When Andrew said thank you at the end, sounded like Eric Tulsky. I'm just throwing that out there. Interviewing Eric Tulsky a few times, just the little like, okay, thank you. It just sounded like the voice of Eric Tulsky to me. And I just think it would be hilarious if Eric Tulsky called in, gave an alias, picked the Canes, and got like 1 or 2. It was just like, good thing I used an alias. That would have been embarrassing. Thank you. Eric Tulsky obviously being the GM of the Canes. It wasn't him, but it would be hilarious if it was. Also, speaking, I just recently learned this. Sauce Gardner, who was one of the players that started in the American Conference, the AAC, the first category we did here. I was listening to a podcast with Luke Fickell, who was the head coach of Cincinnati when Sauce Gardner got there. And it kind of plays into a conversation we had yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago. One of our copper drops this week was about Travis Hunter giving himself a nickname, right? Because Travis Hunter, I guess, is trying to sell that, he should be called the unicorn. And you can't give yourself a nickname. Well, Luke Fickell pretty much said that about Sauce Gardner, right? Sauce Gardner showed up at Cincinnati. He's 165 pounds, corner, and he says, call me Sauce. And they were like, we're not calling you Sauce. You're Ahmad Gardner. Like, what are you doing, freshman? And then they were playing UCF, and this was back when UCF used to run a billion plays, right? They were high tempo, go, 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 go. And it's 100 degrees outside, and maybe feels like 125 on the field. And they basically have to play all of their secondary, right? If you're a backup corner, you have to get out there because guys are just so tired, they're cramping. And Ahmad Gardner goes out there, first drive, pass breakup. Like, all right, well, let's see what he got. They put him back out there for another drive, pick six, interception. He basically said by the end of the day, everyone was like, all right, I guess he's Sauce. So maybe that's the rule. If you're going to give yourself a nickname, you have to be so darn good that everybody has to call you it. They can't imagine calling you anything else. Because it is kind of baller to walk into a college football locker room, or really any locker room, and go like, yeah, my name is Joe. Call me the superstar or whatever. Like, my name is Frank. Go ahead and call me the Terminator. But then to, like, early in your freshman year, have everyone go like, you know what, I guess he's the Terminator. That's pretty good.
Are you talking about giving yourself your own nicknames?
Yeah, which we've had a couple conversations about. I was just listening to a podcast. Dennis wasn't paying attention, so I'll give him the Cliff Notes.
Okay.
Luke Fickell, who coached Cincinnati when Sauce Gardner was there, basically had the same story of, like, Sauce Gardner's name's Ahmad. And he walked in and was like, my name is Sauce Gardner. And they were like, no, you can't give yourself a nickname, freshman. Like, shut up, sit down. And then he got into the game because they were playing on a really hot day and they were rotating players in. First drive, pass breakup. All right, let's put him back out there. Next drive, pick six. All right, I guess we'll call him Sauce.
Yeah, all right, Sauce it is.
So if Travis Hunter is trying to get everybody to call him the unicorn, I mean, like a interception on defense and a touchdown on offense in his first game, and suddenly we'll be like, all right, fine. I guess he's the unicorn.
You know, guys in that locker room are already calling him just straight corny. Like, unicorn, hey, corny. Yo, corny. Yeah. Where are your hands on that one?
Yeah, until if and or when he gets like 2 picks and 2 touchdowns in the same game, and then they're like, you know what? Not as corny anymore. Suddenly seems like a really good nickname.
Corny, let's go.
I was saying no, popcorn, like box office, like you're a star.
Yeah,
I wasn't making fun of you. If you're good enough, you can do darn near anything in the locker room.
You can't give yourself your own nickname.
Sauce Gardner did. I call him Sauce. I didn't know the story.
Yeah. Well, you know, Turk Wharton got the nickname Turk.
I don't.
Tershawn Wharton.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you told me off there, but go ahead and tell the story.
So we had a chance last week to talk to Tershawn Wharton at Panthers training camp for Panthers Playbook. And we asked him, how'd you get that nickname? And I guess when he was younger, he used to, I guess at a friend's house, he used to love eating turkey sandwiches growing up. And at a friend's house, he was eating turkey sandwiches, and he has massive legs, like extremely large quads. Anyway, so his friend's mom used to say, like, oh, you got big turkey legs, because, you know, the end of the turkey leg being so dense. So the nickname Turk just kind of stuck over all the years.
That's a good one. That's fair.
Yeah.
Although I do think it's tough when you go somewhere else with a nickname like that to try to get other people to call you that. Like when he went to college, he had to go like, well, you can call me Turk. Why? Well, my mom's friend or my friend's mom used to say I had turkey legs, and now, you know, I got the quads, and it's just like, I don't know.
I guess the people just also have trouble pronouncing Tershawn at times.
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe that's Turk's just easier.
Maybe. Did you ever have any good nicknames?
I had a weird one in college. It was Moonshoe. Weird name.
Moonshoe?
Yes. So my freshman year in college during football season, I broke my fibula about week 5 or going into week 5 during practice. So they actually immediately put me in a walking boot, even though I was in crutches. So I played lacrosse as well my freshman year, played lacrosse for all 4 years. So the guys on the lacrosse team used to joke and say I looked like I had an astronaut shoe on. So yeah, just
like a brace or whatever it was looked like a moon shoe?
Yeah, so they just Moonshoe was just the name that stuck.
That's fine. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
When you left, did you try to keep it going?
Oh, no, it stayed all the way through
no,
my
I'm saying
senior year.
First job in an office where you
No.
Hey, my name is Dennis. You can call me Moonshoe.
No, never stuck around. Not in that regard.
I never had a good nickname. My initials are good. For football player, TD, so it just kind of no one ever got more creative than that.
That makes sense.
No one, yeah.
Little TD9 out there.
Yeah, nicknames seem fun, but and initials. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Up next, Duke football. Picked to be the highest team in the Triangle on the ACC preseason rankings. We look at everything but the quarterback. How's the roster look aside from Darian Mensah? Next.
Move your sports day forward.
A public service announcement on the dangers of hopium. Yes, hopium, a powerful substance before a season starts. Every NFL fan gets a taste, especially with the Carolina Panthers, where it seems continuity has created a side effect: the use of the word playoffs. One piece of advice: until they lead the division, just say no.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Man, look at that return day old king, man. Oh, wow. Emotional.
King of the Hill is back.
They got a Bob's in the airport now. Oh, that's Boba.
World has changed, Dad.
Bobby wants to bring that new girl over for dinner.
The Vegas? What the hell am I supposed to feed her?
Can't we just put some grass in a bowl?
From Mike Judge and Greg Daniels.
Ready to make some memories, Dad?
Let's freaking go.
A Hulu original series, King of the Hill. Season premiere August 4th. Streaming on Hulu.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for a limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The Blue Devils have won in Winston-Salem! A walk-off touchdown for Jordan Moore! Do you believe it? 23-17, the final score! My goodness! They've done it on the road!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So earlier this week, Duke opened up training camp. Duke football got going, right? They're throwing pads on. They're making plays. They're battling against each other about a month ahead from opening their season. And earlier this week on a Quarterback Tuesday, we talked quite a bit about Darian Mensah and his role on Duke as their incoming transfer, big money starting quarterback. Obviously, a lot for every team rides on how their quarterback plays. But if you look at everything but the quarterback, There's one glaring question mark for the Duke Blue Devils, which actually is, I think, a compliment, right? If you have just one big question mark going into a college football season, that's a compliment to every other part of your team. But this one's kind of a big one. Who are their playmakers? Where's their explosive plays coming from? You just heard one of them right there, Jordan Moore catching the game winner. Jordan Moore, Star Thomas, and Eli Pankel are gone. Okay? Star Thomas is on Tennessee, transfer portal. Jordan Moore and Pankel are in the NFL as undrafted free agents. They were the spark last year for the offense. Total rushing plus receiving yards for the team. So last season, Duke's offense had 4,378 rushing plus receiving yards. 2,615 of them came from just those three guys I mentioned. 2,600, we'll call it. 1,763, everybody else. Basically, I mean, we'll go 900. We'll call it 900 more for three guys than everybody else on the roster in rushing plus receiving. Touchdowns, similar story. 41 touchdowns scored on offense by Duke. 25 of them came from those three guys that are no longer on the team. Everybody else had 16. So where does the pop come from? Right? If Darian Mensah's out there doing the quarterback thing, distributing to his playmakers, who's he getting the ball to? Now, there are some answers that I believe are obvious to choose, but maybe not the most proven. Okay, something like Peyton Jones, who, by the way, we learned today is on the Paul Hornung Award watch list, which goes to the most versatile player in the country. Being on that watch list is mostly, I believe, a mark of what he's done in small sample sizes, special teams, and in few carries and things like that. Quayshawn Brown, also a guy that can get it done in the return game, and also is the leading returning receiver, although he's behind the two guys I mentioned earlier, Moore and Pankel. And then there's Jaquez Moore, who was extremely kind of efficient on a per-carry basis 2 years ago, but then last year spent quite a bit of time dealing with some injuries. We can also throw out some of the new guys. Andrell Anthony is an incoming transfer who spent 2 years at Michigan, followed by 2 years at Oklahoma, but had minimal production in both situations. So you know if Michigan and Oklahoma are taking a chance on you, you have certain measurables and certain recruiting pedigree, but not a ton of production as you come into Duke and try to finish out your career. Then there's Cooper Barkate. Anybody know the story of Cooper Barkate? He had 1,000 yards, more than 1,000 yards receiving, and 11 touchdowns last year at Harvard, where he finished out his career and then transfers to Duke. Must be a smarty. He chose Harvard, by the way. I went back to his recruiting profile over Arkansas, over Arizona State, coming out of high school. So he might have some measurables as well. He just, likes the school thing also. So there's options here. Right? There's guys that have varying degrees of production, varying degrees of time spent at Duke, varying degrees of recruiting pedigree, but they got to figure out who their playmakers are. And that's not always the easiest thing to do, right? In training camp, sometimes it's darn near impossible to do because there are what everybody affectionately refers to as gamers, right? There's somebody who maybe in a scrimmage isn't breaking tackles, isn't making plays. You turn those lights on, you put the TV cameras pointed at them, all of a sudden they're a much better player.
You also have those practice all-stars too.
Also that. Guys who it's like, wow, this is going to be a stud. You show up on game day and you see his legs shaking and maybe a wetness situation taking place. There's only one way to figure that out, right? You got to play the game. You got to give him a chance. Most things, it's actually... I love that things like gamers and practice all-stars still exist. Do you know why? Because you can't analytics that, right? There's no equation that tells you you're one of those people that thrives when the lights turn on. My favorite example of it actually is somebody that's going to play tonight in the NFL Hall of Fame game, the preseason opener that you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan. Hendon Hooker. Earlier in my career, I was in Virginia working for the flagship for Virginia Tech Athletics. Hendon Hooker was there playing quarterback prior to transferring to Tennessee and taking the world by storm. And he was the ultimate gamer. And what I mean by that is guys that were privy to how practice was going were going, I don't think we can play this guy. Then he'd go in a game and he'd complete like 18 of 20 passes for 250 yards and he'd run for another. 2 touchdowns and he'd run for another. And it'd be like, I think you got to play him next game. And they're like, you don't understand. Tuesday through Thursday, this guy is not getting it done. I'm like, yeah, but watch him on Saturdays. Like he was in basically a platoon with Michael Brewer. And it just turns out he's a gamer. Tennessee showed up, and all of a sudden he's lighting it on fire. He's a third-round pick despite the fact that he blew his knee out. He's going to play tonight for the Lions a bit. The Blue Devils have to find out on their offense when it's 3rd and 8 and you need it. Right? The Jordan Moore touchdown we just heard. When you can walk it off in overtime. Who you drawing the play up for? Obviously, the quarterback's going to make the read, and maybe you don't make the throw to that player, but who's the primary in those situations? Or which couple of guys, right? Like, you have to know who you trust in that situation. I played college football at the University of Delaware. I can tell you on big drives and big moments where I was going, where I was looking first. And I think every quarterback gets there, but it's not always obvious right at the beginning. It's part of the chemistry building process. Now, the good news is I'm not worried about the defense. I think Manny Diaz is a really good defensive mind. I think their secondary is loaded with talent. I think they got some linebackers. I think Duke has done a surprisingly good job, regardless of who the coach is, at developing front seven and defensive linemen. I'm not worried about the defense. I'm not super worried about the offensive line anchored by Brian Parker. Right? There's a lot to like. There's a lot that you don't have to sound the alarm about. But, game 1, 3rd and 8, own 38-yard line, minute 40 on the clock. Are you just drawing up something random and hoping it works? Or do you have somebody lined up who you think is your number one playmaker? Are you calling the play to get Jaquez Moore out of the backfield? Are you letting one of the new guys? Are you letting Barkate from Harvard get a look at it? I don't know. And Duke has to do everything they can to figure it out in practice. And as we said, that's not the easiest thing in the world. And I remember this story also. I remember my very first start in college. There was a wide receiver who was probably about my height, maybe a little shorter, so 6'3". And he came up to me during a timeout, and he said, hey, man, I got the size. Throw a jump ball, I'll come down with it. I was like, all right, noted. Couple plays later, he runs a sluggo. Boom, slant and go. Guy doesn't bite on it, but he gets kind of a step on him. I'm like, here it is, right? Short DB, I'm throwing the jump ball. It was glorious. It was a bad throw, right? Just high and behind him, but it's a jump ball, so who cares? Goes up, 2 hands on the ball, hit, drops it. Guess who's not getting a jump ball the next time, right? That guy. It was like in slow motion watching it, and I could almost feel myself in my checklist in my head going, not him. Next time on 3rd down. Duke has to figure that out, maybe by process of elimination through the first couple of games. Because Jordan Moore is not walking through that tunnel. Star Thomas, Eli Pankel's not walking through that tunnel. Quayshawn Brown and Jaquez Moore and Peyton Jones, those are the guys walking through that tunnel. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As I said just a couple minutes ago, here on this station later tonight, you can hear the opener of the NFL preseason. For local college football fans, Omarion Hampton, UNC player last year, first-round pick running back of the Chargers, is expected to be playing, so you can check him out. And just for fans of football, here are the quarterbacks we're expecting to see. Trey Lance, DJ Uiagalelei, maybe Taylor Heineke, Hendon Hooker, who we were just talking about, and Kyle Allen, former Panther. So there's at least some famous quarterbacks, if maybe not the highest quality, playing tonight. Check it out right here, 99.9 The Fan. And we'll see you tomorrow to round out the week. Have a great night, everybody.
The Adam Gold Show.
I keep getting the same question about, is Carolina done? I think Carolina is done for now. Too many teams in the NHL, 31 out of 32, actually think they're going to make the playoffs. So those teams are not giving away or selling off their best players. So Carolina will play the waiting game, and 2 months into the season, 3 months into the season, a lot of those teams aren't going to be in the playoff hunt. That's when Carolina strikes.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. If you're in the market for a mortgage, good luck. Comparing apples to oranges is now more challenging than ever, as we've noticed a return to 80s-style lending with multiple points being charged up front in order to make the payment appear more attractive. Typically, the lowest rate quote you find will have the highest closing cost you'll find, as numerous lenders play this game of getting you to focus only on the payment and not the $15,000 due at closing. On refinancing, it's even worse, as lenders willingly add these costs to your loan amount. At Miller Lending, we don't believe in closing costs. By working with our popular no-cost program, you simply close